As the world prepares for a net zero future, society and business will be looking for innovative ideas to meet this looming deadline. Ideas that will work together to improve the way we live our daily lives, whilst at the same time looking after the planet. These innovations need to be practical at their core and market ready to take forward. There is no time to lose. Engineers need to be inspired to come up with these new ideas, and we need engineers in the boardroom. The purpose of the Engineers in Business Fellowship is to provide engineers with business skills to help them improve the performance of the UK economy. The Fellowship also sponsor business competitions, working with 33 leading universities to encourage young engineers to get involved in business innovation and develop a passion for entrepreneurship at an early stage. Tonight is the Champion of Champions Grand Final for 2021. The 10 finalists are a fine example of young engineers who have a passion for innovation and a desire to learn how they can bring their ideas to market and society as a whole. Now is their chance to shine. Who will emerge victorious? To find out, please welcome your host, TV presenter and engineer, Rob Bell.
Hello, and welcome to the Engineers in Business Fellowship Champion of Champions Awards for 2021. I'm Rob Bell, and I'll be your host for what promises to be an exciting evening full of new, innovative ideas. As an engineer myself, I'm really looking forward to hearing from our teams, not least because it's going to be such a clear reminder of how creative STEM subjects can be. For me, I think for many of the competitors, and possibly for many of you watching this now, being an engineer isn't just a profession or a discipline, it's more of a way of life. It's an analytical, solution-focused outlook that just tends to get applied to almost all aspects of the world around you. In my work as a television presenter, I get to meet loads of different engineers from all sorts of backgrounds in a multitude of roles and specialisms and at all stages of their careers as well. But they all have one thing in common: this calm, can-do approach to problem solving that I think is incredibly attractive and also is likely a key element in achieving successful results, successful projects. From the chief engineering officer on board one of the UK's Trident nuclear submarines to an engineering apprentice at a heritage steam railway, spending time with these individuals who are so passionate and positive about their work is always an inspiring influence on me. Now, I decided to study engineering because, well, probably similarly to many of you, I love making sense of the world around me. Understanding how stuff works, how components and systems and materials can come together to form something useful, something productive, something spectacular. And I'm certain we're going to see more examples of that in our 10 pitches this evening. And talking of spectacular, tonight we are coming live from the Shard, which is an engineering feat in itself. At 306 metres in height, it's the tallest building in Western Europe. It has 95 floors, 44 lifts, and a whopping 11,000 glass panels. Now, it was built in part using a method called top-down construction, meaning that the building's core was being erected upwards whilst the foundations were still being dug. This remarkable creation is the result of outlandish ambition, sheer determination, and effective teamwork. And speaking of teamwork and teams, tonight 10 teams will be sharing their engineering ideas, pitching to our 4 judges in the hope of winning one of the prizes up for grabs in our 3 categories. There's big ideas, startup, and we also have the additional Enterprise Award of £5,000, which will be given to the team with the most commercial potential. Now, we've an exciting show for you, and just to let you know, we'll be announcing the awards near to 8 o'clock. To tell us more about the awards and the Engineers in Business Fellowship, we welcome its president, David Falzani MBE. Welcome, David. Now, it certainly feels like it's going to be an exciting night, doesn't it?
Thank you so much, Rob. And yes, we had so many high-quality entries this year. These finalists have shown us a high level of cutting-edge innovation. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the Engineers in Business Competition Champion of Champions final. We have 10 fantastic finalists from 10 universities, and all of them are enthusiastic and eager to show you their ideas. They were chosen from universities across the British Isles, and given how tough it has been for all of our university partners, their students, staff and mentors this year, I believe that they all deserve a huge round of applause from us. Engineers in Business Fellowship, or EIBF for short, the sponsor of tonight's competition, is a charity that promotes business education for engineers. EIBF began as the Sainsbury Management Fellowship in 1987 and was founded by Lord Sainsbury of Turville, a huge supporter of providing business skills to engineers. Members of EIBF are known as Sainsbury Management Fellows, and we've all received a bursary which enabled us to study for an MBA at a leading international business school. EIBF continues to provide MBA scholarships to talented engineers. We also look to encourage engineering students and younger engineers to develop business skills. Perhaps one of the best ways for young engineers to do this is to participate in university innovation competitions, which we support by providing prize money. We are now working with 33 university partners, and this past year, the competitions have had over 4,000 participants and an audience of 147,000 students. As well as cash prizes, the first prize winners of the university competitions have access to mentoring from one of our Sainsbury Management Fellows. The Champion of Champions final is open to all participants from our university partners, and we are in touch with many of our past winners. Let's hear from Team Stand, winners of our first prize award in 2019 for a product called Bold, a smart safety alert system which looks like a piece of contemporary jewellery.
Hi, I'm Emma and this is Ben, and we're currently in lockdown in Belfast. Ben and I met at university where we started Stand. This was off the back of an idea that we had to help people stay connected and give them peace of mind. Our initial product, Noti, is a piece of smart jewellery that allows users to send a text and their location at the press of a button. You can wear it around your neck or your wrist, and it comes in 3 different colours.
After our final year in university, we entered EIBC, and last October we were fortunate enough to win the competition. This was an amazing experience for us. We got so much out of it. EIBC helped us gain confidence in our ability and the idea, and it's also opened doors for us through the networking event.
There was a lot of PR as well off the back of the competition, and it was crazy hearing ourselves on the radio and seeing ourselves in newspapers. The prize money was also amazing. It helped us with prototypes and allowed us to increase our marketing spend and ultimately gain more customers.
Since the competition, we've been accepted onto a local accelerator in Belfast, and we've learned so much and really developed our business. We've completely redesigned our product, and we're currently getting ready for our initial product launch in the next couple of months. We've done all this through bootstrapping so far, and competitions like EIBC have allowed us to get to where we are today.
Thank you, Ben Lindsay and Emma McGuigan from Queen's University Belfast. Last year's first prize winner, Jonathan Elliott from the University of Exeter, created Petex, a smart filter for washing machines that prevents plastic fibres shed from synthetic clothing from entering watering systems.
Hi, my name is Jonathan. Last year, Petex were fortunate enough to win the Engineers in Business startup competition, and it really was fantastic for us. The £3,000 went a really long way to helping us with some of our research, and that's now directly leading into a PhD application in microplastic degradation, which should be really exciting. Equally, what was great for us was they opened a load of new doors, both in terms of investment opportunities, but also some really exciting collaborations with some other startups in the sector, which would never have happened otherwise.
We're delighted to be encouraging our past winners and our finalists today to take their ideas and innovations forward. We have a diverse group this evening. Some finalists will be undergraduates partway through their studies. Some participants may be preparing to go into corporate jobs and careers. Others may be graduates who have founded startups and are busy trying to scale up. This competition is a chance for all of them, whatever their situation, to compete, either as a big idea or a startup. And we have some fabulous prizes to award this evening. In the Big Ideas category, we have a runner-up prize of £1,500 and a grand prize of £3,000. In the startup category, we also have a runner-up prize of £1,500 and a grand prize of £3,000. And we will have a special prize this evening, the Enterprise Award of £5,000, which will be given to the team with the best commercial potential. So in closing, I would like to thank all of the people that made this year's Champion of Champions final happen. Our judges, our guest speakers, and our sponsors, Purple CV and Cambridge University Press. We would also like to thank the Sainsbury Management Fellows who have volunteered to be mentors, the technical crew, and of course the very talented teams we'll be meeting this evening. Finally, I'd like to thank our patron, Lord Sainsbury, without whose vision and ongoing support, none of this would have been possible. I hope you enjoy the evening and good luck to all the teams tonight.
David, thank you very much. I mean, you've set this competition up perfectly. If the kudos of winning those prizes wasn't high enough already, the cash prizes are certainly something to go for. David, thank you. I think we can all agree the network of highly successful engineers in business that's being developed by the Fellowship is truly impressive. Now, before we meet our judges, let's see how some of those Sainsbury Management Fellows have been busy over the last couple of weeks, advising and mentoring tonight's finalists, giving them some top tips on how to best present their ideas tonight.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Engineers in Business Fellowship Champion of Champions Coaching and Photography Day.
We are CTV, and our product is the iCycle, which aims to keep Britain's roads safer by protecting cyclists.
And we provide a machine monitoring solution for manufacturing businesses, helping them to minimise downtime and maximise efficiency.
I'm here with the team Wireless Wild, which is working on increasing conservation data by using image recognition technology with our brand new device.
We're all delighted to see you all here in person, and we hope today will be productive, enlightening, and enjoyable for everyone.
We feel great about being selected as finalists. It gives us that added confidence. We feel like people are seeing our vision.
Our hope is that we can start growing this business into a truly global scale to solve a global crisis that is happening.
To get through to the finals of this competition has been really wonderful for us. We're all so excited and really happy, and we're so grateful for the opportunity to develop our innovation and hopefully take it further.
Honestly, the mentoring session has been really good. William's really helpful. We've managed to quite consolidate our idea, and I feel like we've got a good plan of how to win the competition.
I think what we'll really take back from this mentoring session is the ability to structure our presentation and also being able to present it as a team cohesively.
I was really impressed. They'd done a huge amount of work, and it's clear that going through the process of weeding down to the final 10, we got some really outstanding groups.
Mentoring was very helpful because we got to speak to someone who's been through a similar journey and, you know, directed us in certain ways that, and we didn't have to make certain mistakes that he already made on his journey. So yeah, it was really good.
Overall, huge takeaways from today, and it was absolutely great.
Now, I'm sure there was a lot of helpful and no doubt valuable advice given there during those mentoring sessions. OK, then it's time to meet our 4 judges for tonight's competition. Please welcome Anna Aveliani, Director of Enterprise and Sustainable Development at the Royal Academy of Engineering, Andy Phillipps, an entrepreneur and early-stage tech investor and venture capitalist, Jerome Bergman, an Associate Professor of Engineering Science at Oxford University, and our head judge tonight, Serge Taborin, who is also a Sainsbury Management Fellow. Good evening to all of you. Serge, I'm going to come to you first, if I may. Can you tell us a bit about the criteria that you're going to be using to judge the teams this evening?
Of course, we'll be looking at the originality of the idea. We'll also be looking at how well the solutions meet the needs of its customers. We'll, of course, look at the quality of the presentation. And last but certainly not least, we'll look at the commercial viability of the solutions. I'm really excited to hear what's coming up.
There we are. That's how it works. Judge Anna, good evening. Now, with only 3 minutes to pitch the benefits of their ideas, as a panel of judges, do you see your role as being more representative of being in the boardroom or of being potential investors towards our competitors?
Hello. Well, probably a combination of both, really. So we will, of course, be looking at innovation, as Serge had said earlier. We're also very interested in the commercial application. We're really interested to understand how far this innovation can be taken in the commercial world. And of course, we're really, really interested in the team, because it is all about the execution. Ideas are cheap, as they say. It is all about implementing those ideas and driving things forward. So quite a tough task, I suppose, to fit everything into 3 minutes, but really looking forward to hearing from all the panelists today.
Absolutely a tough task, Anna. Thank you very much. Taborin, I'll come to you. Good evening. Quite simply, what are you looking for from the pitches tonight?
Yeah, thank you. A very good question. So I'm really interested in seeing how they use the engineering and science to come up with a solution, and how they make sure that their technology is a good fit for the need that they are trying to solve.
Lovely. Thank you, Taborin. And finally, we'll come to Judge Andy. Andy, welcome. Now, how difficult a job do you feel you have as a judge of panels tonight? Judge of panels?
Really
panels of judges, sorry.
As I look through the... it's a really hard job. I've looked through the ideas, and there are so many really, really cool ideas here, and it feels almost a shame to try and narrow it down to one or two, but we'll do our best, and we'll try to come to a good result.
I'm sure you'll do your best. Thank you very much to our judges. And I hope you're all settled and comfortable, because, well, I do suspect you have a busy old time ahead of you this evening. Thank you very much, and enjoy yourselves. I'm sure you shall. I'm sure you will. So tonight, the pressure is on our teams to perform, which is what they'll have to do to gain the support they need to turn their ideas into reality. But the judges aren't the only ones who can vote. Many of you have already voted for your favourite team idea on the Engineers in Business competition website for the pre-show People's Prize. But don't worry if you haven't voted yet, as you will have another chance to vote for the Audience Prize after seeing all the teams pitch their ideas tonight. The teams that win the People's Prize and the Audience Prize will be awarded £500 each. Now, you can also submit comments to the teams on the interactive hub as we go through the evening and as you're watching with us there. And if you're tweeting during the competition, please remember to use the hashtag EIBC Grand Final. It's there on the screen. And after tonight's finalists have pitched their ideas, we have 3 special guests who've all been on a very similar journey to what our teams are about to embark on. Dame Anne Richards, who is a Sainsbury Management Fellow and the CEO of Fidelity International. Elvin Turner, best-selling author and award-winning advisor to global corporations, governments, non-profit organisations and startups around the world. And one of our judges, Andy Phillipps, also a Sainsbury Management Fellow, entrepreneur, angel investor and venture partner. Now, as we've said, there are 3 categories tonight. Big Ideas is for younger students who wish to express their potential to tackle a big problem by combining business and technology. Whilst Startups is there for those who've started or hope to start a new company. And the Enterprise Award, sponsored by Dame Anne and Matthew Richards, with £5,000 awarded to the team which has the best commercial potential. So there is a lot up for grabs tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and our teams know it. So let's get pitching. Now, our 10 teams will have precisely 3 minutes to pitch their idea to our 4 judges, after which there'll be time for 1 or 2 questions from the judges. And after all 10 of our teams have pitched their ideas, the judges will deliberate to decide the winners. All right, let's get on. We start tonight with Team Lighthouse from the University of York. Their big idea is to develop a tracker device they call the North Star. Now, this is for vulnerable people and would alert their carers if they leave a designated safe zone. Wan Yun-Law and Emily Martin from Team Lighthouse, welcome to the proceedings this evening. You are first up. You have 3 minutes and your time starts now.
Lighthouse is a social enterprise. We're a caring team with a passion for using software to aid in social value. Our mission is to create positive change in the UK using modern and innovative tracking software solutions. Grandparents developing Alzheimer's or dementia is a huge worry and a struggle for a lot of us. My great-grandmother had Alzheimer's and she would wander, leaving the house alone and vulnerable. This inspired us to research further into this topic to see if there was a way to help families in similar positions. The Alzheimer's Association estimates that as many as 60% of people with dementia will wander. 49% of children with autism attempt to wander, with 53% of these wandering children going missing long enough to cause concern. We found a clear market need for a tracking product using the user research survey, with 65% of participants agreeing that tracking is an appropriate option to keep vulnerable people safe, and 71% think a tracking product could help reduce labour in care homes. The problem space and research led to our solution, North Star, a safer walking technology focused on our active consumers who are the vulnerable people prone to wandering, with our target customers being the families and carers who need the help of our product.
North Star contains a software and a disc tracker. The tracker has subtle clip-on design and is locked with a magnetic key. This is to ensure that the tracker is secure on the consumers and can be easily removed by the carer. The software can be accessed through a mobile or a desktop. It has 3 unique features to help shorten the locating time, because we believe that the shorter the time needed, the safer they will be. These features are safe zone, trusted contact, and word 3 words. Safe zones are where the carer defines a specific area for the vulnerable person to walk around freely without disclosing their location, keeping their privacy intact. Trusted contact allows the carer to get extra help from people they trust to help faster locating. This is only authorized by the primary carer, and the information is shared only when necessary. Word 3 words is a special geocoding service used by the emergency services to pinpoint location. This helps to locate a specific area more quickly and accurately. North Star will have an initial cost of £30 and then be charged a monthly subscription of £25. This product not only protects the vulnerable people, provides assurance and solution to families and carers, it could also help care homes to save money. The 2021 global healthcare software market is an estimated size of $81.4 billion. Our biggest competitors is AngelSense, a US-based company that sells a hardware tracker and software application. Different from AngelSense, Lighthouse is a UK social and software-focused enterprise. With our team's software development skills, we will develop the software in-house while outsourcing the tracker from China. Follow the North Star. Thank you.
Team Lighthouse, that's it. Oh, just in time. Well done. That's your 3 minutes. Very well done, guys. Very well done. I'm going to head over to our judges for questions. Serge is head judge. I'll come to you first. Why not? Questions for Team Lighthouse.
Thank you. Wonderful presentation and an important societal issue. My question is, these wearables and GPS trackers have been around for a number of years now. Why do you think now is the time that the market is ready to adopt this technology?
Aaron, do you want to answer this one?
I think now is the time because we are focusing on a very niche market, and there's a growth in the global healthcare software market, and we are targeting a very specific group of people with these necessary needs, and we have our special combination of features which can really help.
And I feel like as well, big companies like Apple have now come out recently with tracking software. So I feel like it really shows that there is a need for it at the moment. But different to Apple, of course, we have links with specific care homes in Yorkshire, and we can have an advantage with that we have those connections that we can use.
Thank you. We've probably just about got time for one more question. Judges, Anna, I'll come to you.
Okay, thank you very much. That's great. Fantastic presentation. Really enjoyed that. Can you talk perhaps about some of the other applications? So we understand how you're looking to use this technology for this particular purpose, but do you feel there might be a dual application of your technology, and can this potentially become a bit of a, I suppose, a platform technology from your point of view?
Yes, so we discussed about expanding in the future to pet tracking. We feel like our software and hardware could be very easily used in that situation, as well as other types of medical tracking, anything that really would help with people finding that. So
I think we've got time for one more, actually. Yes, Andy, a question from you, please.
Firstly, a great presentation, and I love the fact you've done the consumer feedback back as well, and you've talked to lots of consumers. I'd love your thoughts, as Serge mentioned, it's a competitive space. When you were talking to consumers, were there particular things that came up that would drive your success, or what do you regard as the key thing you need to do really, really well in order to win in this space?
I think for our biggest benefit is that we actually care about their privacy. We know that tracking can be disturbing sometimes for personal purpose. So we really care about the privacy, which is why we come up with the feature of Safe Zone.
Lovely. Thank you very much for your questions. We're going to have to leave that there for now. Thank you very much, judges. And well done, ladies. Wan Yun Law and Emily Martin from Team Lighthouse and the University of York. OK, we move on. Our second Big Ideas finalist is Team AuraGen from the University of Birmingham. AuraGen is a wind turbine that can operate 24 hours a day from the roof of your house that will allow households to generate their own renewable electricity. Joe Garrett, you are Team AuraGen tonight, so welcome. And similarly, for your pitch, you have 3 minutes. And over to you, your time starts now.
Hi, my name is Joe Garrett, and I'm here to pitch AuraGen. So solar panels are becoming more and more prevalent and shows there is a demand for domestic renewables from environmentally conscious homeowners and electric vehicle owners. However, solar panels only work during the daytime and are not especially power dense. On the other hand, current domestic wind turbines are small, so produce little meaningful power and difficult to mount to a house or need a tall, expensive support structure to reach the height necessary to access consistent, faster flowing air. AuraGen is a vertical axis wind turbine with a 7-meter diameter that connects with a 5 kilowatt generator. It is attached to a wooden frame that can hold solar panels too. This is easy to machine and reduces costs, allowing AuraGen to accommodate a wide variety of buildings. AuraGen will be manufactured off-site and installed using a loader crane directly onto the roof. Aurora's mounting method gives greater stability compared to domestic wind turbines, and consequently it allows for a wider diameter of turbine to be used. As you can see from this diagram, most of the UK experiences relatively high average wind speeds. I'm using the average UK wind speed with the power curve calculated for AuraGen. AuraGen can provide 1 kilowatt of power, translating to roughly 21.2 kilowatt hours per day. For context, the average UK household uses 10 kilowatt hours per day, and a comparable solar array would produce 8 kilowatt hours per day. The cost estimate for AuraGen places it around £9,900. The context of comparable solar panel array will cost £5,000. But AuraGen has an overall lower cost per unit kilowatt. There are 3 different commercialization strategies. You either sell and install AuraGen for a one-time fee, monthly payment plans, or license the technology to another manufacturer. Currently, I'm early in the development phase with preliminary designs, but I'm working on an active pitch mechanism to improve efficiency and startup performance as my final year project at university. To conclude, AuraGen is a way of generating renewable electricity from the roof of your house and offers cost-effective mounting with performance 2.5 times that of a comparable solar panel array. AuraGen offers a compelling way for consumers to reduce their carbon footprint by as much as 2.3 kilograms per day, plus becoming largely self-sufficient in electricity, which is important considering the rise in electric vehicle sales. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to your questions.
Right on time. Fantastic job, Joe. Well done. Let's head over to our judges. And Jerome, we'll start with you this time, please. Questions for Joe?
Yeah, thanks very much. Great presentation. I guess a question that I have is, can you tell us a bit more about the maintenance? So, of course, these things are there for a long time. So have you thought about that, and how do you see that happening?
So the design of AuraGen is designed to last for 12 plus years. I intend to do that by using a permanent magnet generator that reduces the need for a gearbox. This style of turbine has relatively high tip speed ratios, which means it rotates at a relatively fast rate, which allows the absence of a gearbox that is traditionally found in horizontal axis wind turbines, and as such is quite a large source of maintenance.
Yeah, important question, Jerome. Thank you, Joe. Serge, let's come back round to you in our carousel of questions from the judges. Serge, it was lost. Serge. Well, Anna, round to you. Anna, do you have a question for Joe?
Yes, sorry, apologies. Going to get myself off mute here. So thank you very much. Really excellent presentation. My question is about the energy or electricity that's being generated. So have you thought about selling kind of any excess energy back to the grid, or I suppose monetizing any excess energy that might be produced by your turbines?
Yeah, for sure. So currently there is feed-in tariffs that currently pay around 5.5 pence per kilowatt hour. Because of AuraGen's 24/7 power generating capabilities, that could lead to quite a large passive income for owners of AuraGen. Another key feature is the ability to generate electricity during the night, where I foresee a lot of electric vehicle owners will charge their vehicle when they get home from work, which potentially provides AuraGen with a large market and a growing market.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Joe. And we've got time for one more question as well. Andy, back over to you. A question for Joe?
Yeah, thanks, Joe. That was a great presentation and lots of numbers. I like a lot of numbers. One of the things that I know used to be a problem with vertical axis wind turbines was that they needed to be kick-started, or if they came to stop, they could be quite hard to restart. They wouldn't do it automatically. Has that been solved?
Yeah, for sure. There are new blade profiles developed by the EN number classification that provides self-starting abilities. There is also various ways of applying self-starting abilities. I'm looking, as part of my final year project at university, a way of adjusting the blade pitch when stationary to turn it into more of a kind of Savionis type turbine that will start using drag forces rather than the lift generated by the wind.
Brilliant stuff. Very, very insightful. Joe, thank you very much. And thanks again to our judges for your questions. Joe, well done with Team AuraGen. We are moving on. Our third Big Ideas finalists are with Team GOAB BioEngineers from the University of Nottingham. GOAB BioEngineers have plans to produce durable composite boards from plastic waste. Ebenezer Owosu and Philemon Giassi Antwi, welcome to the show, guys, with your GOAB BioEngineers Big Idea. You know the score. You've got 3 minutes to pitch, and your time starts now.
Thank you. Our world has a problem. Now, the problem our world is dealing with currently is plastic waste. The amount of plastic waste humans are producing is enormous. Studies show that about 60% of all urban solid waste is made up of plastic. In fact, between 2010 and 2015, the quantity of plastic waste that was generated by humans increased from 275 million tons to 302 million tons. And this is expected to increase to 762 million tons by 2034. The impact of plastic waste on human and aquatic life cannot be underestimated. That is why my colleague and I are coming out with this innovative solution. We want to melt plastic waste and wood shavings into powdery form, add additives, compress them into boards, surface treat them, and then we produce these beautiful boards that can be used globally. Our solution works best because we do not produce poisonous fumes like traditional plastic recycling plants where the plastic is melted before they break them down into pellets. We want to avoid that part by only milling the plastic into powdery form before processing. Again, we do not use toxic additives like urea formaldehyde that have been used in producing oriented strand balls that are currently on the market. Our technology is easy to produce around the globe because the technology is actually not complicated to set up. We have done our market survey, and we can tell you that our products can be used for joinery work, for cladding, and for many building and construction purposes. In Nottingham, where we are based, our market survey shows that on the average, about 10,000 of these boards are sold monthly to contractors. We can guarantee you a cheaper product, which is more durable and less flammable, compared to what is currently on the market, like plywood, chipboard, and these oriented strand boards. Our products come down to only £12 and 18 pence per meter squared. And by the addition of phosphorus and then nitrogen as additives, our products will be less flammable, eco-friendly, and durable. Friends, our world is choked with plastic. We can no longer contain the amount of plastic that's currently going into our landfills. Come and support us, recycle this plastic waste into these beautiful composite boards that can be used around the world. Thank you so much for listening to us.
Guys, well done. Fantastic. Fantastic. There it is. There it is, look. Team GOAB, well done. Let's head straight over to the judges. We've got Serge back. Serge, straight over to you for questions for the gents.
Thank you, guys. I think amazing ambition, and I think on behalf of all of us, we all hope this actually works out and saves the planet. It's obviously a huge problem. My question is, when I look at your business canvas, your costs didn't seem to include the collection and shipping of plastic back to where you would produce them into boards. If you add that back into the equation, because it clearly will be a cost, how does your economics work from there? Do the economics still stack up? Are you still producing cheaper and more durable boards than what is currently available on the market?
Yeah, you can speak.
Technically speaking, the cost associated in producing... Can you hear me now? Technically speaking, the cost associated in producing our sample is £8.18, and we've incorporated miscellaneous cost into it, which is £4. So that miscellaneous cost will cater for the cost associated in other activities like having to transport them to our production site.
Okay, thanks, guys. I tell you, Jerome, let's come over to you. It's been a while. Question for the boys with their beautiful composite boards.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for trying to tackle a very important problem. So it is really great to see that young people are thinking about this. I had a question about the mechanical properties of the board. So what are the mechanical properties, and how have you established those?
The mechanical properties is, one, they have to be the boards have to be flammable. Two, the tensile strengths, because as to be used as partitioning boards, they have to be able to bear load, and it's one of the things that makes our board unique. The incorporation of nitrogen and phosphorus. Well, one, they have charring properties, and the charring property inhibits the flammability of the board. Okay, it makes the board less flammable by taking oxygen or reducing the oxygen. And we know that for fire to come about, 3 properties have to be: 1, there should be a fuel; 2, there has to be heat, and there has to be oxygen. So the nitrogen and phosphorus, once they cut or they break oxygen access to the flame, will help it reduce its flammability. And the tensile strength and compressive strength, once we reduce the size, that's why the essence of mailing the powders and wood shavings into powdery form. Scientifically, the presence of pores reduce the load-bearing capacity of the product. Once there are a lot of pores in a sample, the pores serve as stress risers. So a little amount of force that you apply to it, it raises it, and the strength of the product reduces. So as we mill the plastic and wood shavings into powder, the porosity within the board will minimize, and hence it can bear more load, thereby increasing the tensile strength and load-bearing capacity and compressive strength. Thank you very much.
Lovely, got a very, very comprehensive answer. Chaps, thank you very much. That's all the time we have for questions from our judges for that now. Again, thank you, judges, and thank you to the team from the University of Nottingham, Ebenezer and Philemon, with the GOAB BioEngineers. Thank you, chaps. Our last Big Ideas finalists are Team Cycle to Vehicles from the University of Sheffield. Cycle to Vehicles, their startup is looking to produce a standalone post-mounted camera at busy road junctions to improve safety for cyclists. In the team, we have Joel Rogers, Chelsea Eden, Ellie Giulietti, Shady Hamed and Jonathan Muniz from Team Cycle to Vehicles. Welcome all. Guys, you have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
We're C2V, presenting the iCycle. The iCycle is your eye in the sky, watching over cyclists at the most dangerous junctions.
Cyclists are not safe on Britain's roads. In 2019, 2/3 of all cyclists that were killed or seriously injured were within 20 metres of a junction, with cyclists 15 times more likely than drivers to be critically injured. We need a system to make drivers more aware of cyclists approaching a junction and therefore reducing these figures.
How it works is simple. An artificial intelligence camera detects a cyclist arriving at a junction and transmits the information wirelessly to an LED screen to notify drivers of the cyclist's presence. The sign will be carefully placed so as to allow drivers enough time to slow down, check for cyclists, and avoid a potentially fatal crash. All components will be powered by solar panels. Everything can be customized depending on the needs of each specific junction. The AI will be diversely trained, allowing it to detect cyclists from all ethnicities and abilities. The junction shown is an example of what we would consider an ideal T-junction.
Due to iCycle's versatility, it can be implemented at a wide variety of dangerous junctions, providing a standardized infrastructure system. iCycle gives cyclists increased confidence, encouraging people to cycle as a safe method of green travel, combating the climate crisis, improving public health, saving lives, and reducing pressure on the NHS. As the infrastructure is non-disruptive and attached to existing street furniture, it will be more sustainable to implement and won't have the socio-political pitfalls of hard cycling infrastructure schemes, such as dedicated cycle lanes.
C2B will market iCycle to councils and private firms who will purchase our product for dangerous junctions in their local area or businesses. iCycle will also have support from cyclist groups. We released a survey earlier this year to potential users of iCycle. This received over 170 responses. It showed that 40% of people find it too dangerous to cycle on the roads with the current infrastructure. We then found that 93% of people would feel safer cycling on the roads if there was a system to alert drivers about the presence of a bike.
iCycle has sparked interest from companies working in a variety of sectors, including infrastructure and technology. We are scheduled to meet with Amy in Sheffield, who have a keen interest in working with C2V as part of their Sheffield Streets Ahead project. Our next steps depend on funding. If we were to win the grand finale, the money would be used to design and to manufacture a prototype of the system, and then to initiate our pilot scheme. We're exploring ways to register our intellectual property for iCycle. This could be around display technology or methods of mounting the camera.
Deaths and injuries on Britain's roads, plus the NHS, £470 million every year, alongside tearing families apart.
Guys, that's time up, I'm afraid. I'm going to have to stop you there. That's your 3 minutes. I'm so sorry. But that's it. Well done, guys. Well done. That's your pitch. I mean, I was very impressed with the choreography at the beginning there. Fantastic. Everyone just disappeared. Judges, we'll come over to you. I mean, the stats there certainly back up that this is a problem. Anna, if we could come to you for a question first, please.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I'd quite like to understand the business side of this. So, you know, obviously you spoke about potentially protecting it. How do you make money out of it? And are you envisaging a B2B model, B2C model? Can you talk us through that a little bit, please?
Yeah, I can take that question from you. So we've done a full cost evaluation on our project. We're expecting the bill of materials to be about £8,000 minimum, and this includes an ideal junction. We also like to make about 10% profit, and that's our sort of ideal range. And with this, we're expecting sort of like an ideal junction cost around £17,000, which may seem like a lot of money, but you know the cost for a broken leg is about £5,000. So yeah, it's relatively low in that situation.
Yeah, just to follow up on Joel's point, what we're offering is a one-stop solution. So you can come to us, and what we'll do is we'll provide the testing for an individual junction. We'll also ensure that it works correctly and that it does what it's supposed to do, rather than going through, I say, and trying to source out the individual components yourself.
Thanks, guys.
Brilliant, and you're looking to your...
Oh, sorry, Anna. No, Anna, go on. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you. I was just going to ask about reoccurring revenue. So clearly, you guys are looking to have some add-ons as well in terms of services that you will be providing. So it's not just the equipment that you will be selling; it's also, yeah, you will also. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Very interesting technology. Clearly, tackling a massive problem on the roads, especially in London. So thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you. Very, very comprehensive. Andy, let's come to you. Are you a keen cyclist?
Yeah, and I've just come back from cycling in California, and it's absolutely terrifying. So I get the problem here. I guess the question that sprung to mind was, I think you're proposing using AI to try and detect the cyclist. And my apologies for my lack of understanding, but that normally requires quite a lot of processing power. Are you having to transmit the data back to a central server and then analyze it and then send it back, or are you trying to do all the processing on chip at the roadside?
I can field that one. Yes, essentially the way we have designed it is to have it connected to the internet and have it sort of be processed in a server of sort of online. And that way we can minimize the amount of actual processing power that we need on site and minimize the cost and the sort of the size of the product itself.
Great, lovely. Thank you very much, guys. But very well done, very well done. Can you do that choreograph again to go off screen as we say cheerio? 3, 2, 1, go.
Give us the countdown.
Thank you again to our judges for your questions, and well done, guys. Cycle to Vehicles from the University of Sheffield. Now, we're now on to our Startup Prize contenders. Now, these teams have taken their big ideas and are already working on them into what they hope will be viable businesses. Now, our first startup finalists are Team Wireless Wild, representing the University of Portsmouth. Now, their startup uses state-of-the-art image and audio recognition to build a digital picture of ecosystem change and impact. The team comprises Robert Ball, Kieran Wright, Samuel Gandhi, and Victoria Yates from Team Wireless Wild. Welcome to the show, guys. You have 3 minutes for your pitch. And guess what? Your time starts now.
Close your eyes. It's London, 2040. 1/3 of all food is gone. Clean water and sanitation at risk, and access to new medicines lost. Effective conservation action is needed, but gaps in the data, how are we going to achieve this? Currently, we're not. the UK has failed to reach 17 out of 20 of the UN's biodiversity targets. Open your eyes. This is the reality. The global economy will lose an estimated £1.95 trillion annually due to the loss of a variety of living things or biodiversity. This loss is preventable through automating outdated, inefficient data collection, which saves hours of manpower and enhances data quality.
Imagine a network of smart devices that can detect the natural world the way we monitor the weather today. We can already detect any animal, from foxes to bees, with our functional machine learning prototypes, and analyze this remotely to understand the health of different ecosystems through our ecological health score.
Our clients in construction and agriculture are required by law to show evidence of increased biodiversity due to new policies. These highlight the needs of our other clients in government who are desperate to meet biodiversity targets. So now, more than ever, a company like us is gold dust. We provide data analysis services for £1,200 and devices for £1,000 per unit, with initial profit margins of over 80%. Our aim is to secure high-value data contracts where they are legally required, so we can provide additional tailored services to increase profit margins.
Even if we only secure 1% of the $3 billion in the market of conservation technologies in the UK, there is ample opportunity to secure capital as conservation private investment has increased 3 times since 2013. By 2030, we hope to have sold 10,000 devices and have 12,500 online users, which equates to an operating income of £26.8 million. As we have something that's not currently available, identifying our competition has been difficult. Whilst wildlife cameras are the most competitive products to us, they do not offer the same survey qualities that we bring to the table.
Our supporters understand the desperate need for low-cost, high-quality and timely ecological data, and they, like us, believe our team can provide this. I'm Kieran, the CEO of Wireless Wild. This is Rob, my CEO, and next is Sam, my CTO, and Victoria is our CMO. We are lucky to have a wide range of mentors, but look forward to having a commercially minded mentor on board to help us with our team weaknesses.
It's London 2040. Shelves are heaving with produce, water is clean, and medication is available. New Grin, as you
That's it, guys. Team Wireless Wild, I'm afraid I have to cut you off there. I am brutal with these 3 minutes. I'm sorry, but that's the competition. Well done, guys. Well done. And you know what you present. It's an issue that I know many people are concerned with, and it is something that needs tackling. We're going to come to our judges for questions. Serge, we're back to you.
Thanks, Rob, and I agree. I think it's a really novel application of technology to a really interesting problem. My question is about scalability. Does your solution really work on a macro scale, or does it naturally only lend itself to smaller, very well-defined areas where you can place your sensors in specific spots, or can it go into the broader, bigger areas, and how would that work?
Well, we believe we can work on both scales, so on a small scale and a large scale. We're going to develop an algorithm which can help us understand how many devices we need to properly survey a location, to use an ecological system like distance sampling to get population estimates. So the answer is yes, we think we can go from a small scale and to a large scale if we understand the exact number of devices we need.
So something else we can also do is on a macro scale, we can also offer this ecological health score, which can tell you not only how entire areas are doing, but can combine with other sites in order to give a much bigger idea of something like the UK in total. Thank you.
No, thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah. Jerome. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Jerome, we're going to come to you for a question, if we could, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for a very good presentation. And I love the idea of using data-driven methods. So it's nice to see that being applied here. I had a question in the reference to the kind of algorithm that you want to use. So I guess a lot of the novelty is kind of related to the AI algorithm that you are proposing. Can you tell us a bit about the accuracy that you have or that you're hoping to get, and how you both determining the accuracy and what you think you need to achieve in order to be competitive in this market?
So visually, we use something called YOLO-V5, which is the latest object detection algorithms, and they can draw boxes around all the animals. We can actually have multiple in the same picture, and they have really high accuracies of about like 90%. The audio, we have less of accuracy, we're about 70%, but we have they're more longer audio clips. So we're having to evaluate different chunks of different segments of audio, but we're getting really high accuracies when it's localized audio, so like 5 second to 10 second, and then the accuracy reduces as soon as you get longer audio.
So something else we are looking at currently is we have, we're looking into TensorFlow, which is a different algorithm that we can use. And with the technologies that we already have, because both the image, audio, and video analysis are all functional, we do actually have like guaranteed 80% with our test data. We are now looking for more images and to use partner sites such as Never State to actually test this in a real world scenario where we think it will fall, but we already know how to make improvements to this. Hopefully that answers your question. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Jerome, for your question, and thank you, Team Wireless Wild. Comprehensive answers and presentation there as well. Team Wireless Wild from the University of Portsmouth. Thank you, guys. We're on to our second startup finalist, which is Revolancer from Aberystwyth University. Revolancer is a startup digital platform that connects entrepreneurs and small business owners with talented remote working freelancers and students who specialise in digital skills. Carl Swanepoel is Team Revolancer. Carl, welcome this evening. You have 3 minutes and your time starts now.
Hi, I'm Carl and we are Revolancer. We're revolutionizing how businesses hire quality freelancers. We were recently quoted as helping like-minded individuals join the professional world by Big Ideas Wales. But before I tell you about Revolancer, let's talk about how businesses hire freelancers. Did you know that 75% of UK businesses have a digital skills shortage? More often than not, small businesses can't afford to hire a full or part-time employee for digital services. Hiring freelancers is a great idea for businesses, but unfortunately with current platforms, it's not that simple. Current freelancing platforms have no quality control and very high fees. Worst of all, freelancers who offer quality work lack exposure. However, I have good news. We have the solution. We're an online marketplace accessible via our website and smartphone apps where freelancers can sell quality digital services to businesses. All work offered on Revolancer is delivered remotely, and we work closely with our freelancers and buyers to improve the platform on a weekly basis. We have AI-powered quality control, and due to this automation, we offer the lowest seller fees of any freelance marketplace platform. It's free to start selling, and we charge freelancers a commission of between 5 to 15% on successful orders, depending on their seller level. Quality freelancers not only get exposure, but we also pay them a commission for 3 months on orders placed by buyers that they referred. On Revolancer, our buyers get both quality and value without compromise. Since launching our beta recently, we've already acquired over 160 active users and processed over £2,500 in transaction volume. Freelancers and businesses love us. Our in-house AI classifier is already performing strongly on the training data from real user listings on Revolancer. So actually, this isn't a question of validation, it's a question of expansion. The global freelance platforms market is growing at a 15.3% compound annual growth rate, projected to more than double over the next 4 years. We're entering a multi-billion-pound market at the start of exponential growth. We have experience in our core team, spanning from entrepreneurship to AI and website development to marketing and strategy. And we're advised by Matt Brady, who as the founding chief marketing officer, grew Just Eat from a small startup into the behemoth it is today. So let's recap. We're growing really fast. We have the right team with all the skills we need to go to market. And through our innovative AI quality control, our customers get both quality and value at the same time. And I think you will get it now. We're revolutionizing how businesses hire quality freelancers. Thank you very much.
Well done, Carl. Nicely within the 3-minute time limit. Good presentation. Let's come to our judges. I'm fairly certain some, if not all of you, have been freelancers at some point in the past. Anna, let's come to you for a first question for Carl.
Okay, thank you, Carl. Really interesting presentation, a very interesting market as well. And a challenge you're looking to address. So you spoke about competition, which is rife. I think there are quite a few companies that are working in this space. You spoke about your competitive advantages. I'm particularly interested in the quality control piece. Can you expand on that a little bit and explain how it works? How do you kind of control the quality of people and work? Could you help us understand that a little bit, please? Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you very much for the question. So with freelance marketplaces, freelancers put up listings on their profile. So I could put up a listing and say, for example, that I'll build you a website for £1,000 or design you a logo for £500, for example. And on many freelance marketplaces, it's sort of a free-for-all. So a freelancer can come on, they can make 20 different listings. And what oftentimes happens is that freelancers who aren't looking to offer quality work will create a lot of different listings ranking for different search terms. And then buyers will stumble upon them much more easily than listings offered by quality freelancers who are putting time and effort into creating these listings. And as a result of that, quite often it's a bit like playing Russian roulette when you hire freelancers, especially on a budget on freelance marketplaces. But when a freelancer creates a listing on Revolancer, it goes into a quality approval queue where one of our team will check it against our strict quality guidelines to make sure that they're giving the buyer all of the information that they need to make an informed choice on whether to hire that freelancer or not. And all of that data is being fed into a database, which is used as training data for our quality control classifier, which then over time will become more accurate in being able to predict whether a listing would receive human approval or get rejected. And as a direct result of that automation, we can scale without a large overhead and keep our fees low for our freelancers.
Thank you, Carl, and thank you, Anna. Andy, I think we've got time for one more question for Carl from you, if we could, please.
Yeah, hi, Carl. A great presentation, and I used to work with Matt Brady, so say hi. It's a very competitive space, as you know. One of the questions I'd have here is how do you keep people on the platform? And by that I mean, if they transact through the platform, obviously they're paying the 10-15% commission. If you just make an introduction, they can obviously transact outside the platform, not pay that there. And I know it was a problem for some of the early marketplaces here, but is that something you found as a problem, or how have you addressed it?
It's an excellent question. And actually, this is something that Matt Brady brought up very early, the disintermediation, right? So sellers trying to exchange contact details with buyers. And the way that our competitors approach this issue almost unilaterally is that they impose strict policing. So they have filters in chat. One of our competitors even fines freelancers if they try to exchange contact details. So let's think about why freelancers would try and do that. And the reason why is to obviously mainly avoid paying the fees. Most of our competitors charge a fixed fee of 20% on transactions. Our commission fee starts at 15% and drops down to 5% as they bring in more money and more revenue. So a lot kinder to freelancers. And our general approach to this problem is to build a platform that freelancers want to use based on their feedback and to add additional tools to make it their ideal sort of base to work from for clients both on and off platform. So in answer to your question, it is absolutely disintermediation is the #1 problem of any two-sided marketplace platform of any kind in any industry. But the way we're approaching it is by building something that is serving the freelancers, it's being fair to them, and it's something that they actually want to use. It's actually the best tool out there.
Thank you very much, Carl. Thank you. And thanks again to our judges for your questions. That's Carl from Revolancer from Aberystwyth University. Well done, Carl. We move on. Our third startup finalist is Team Paige from Imperial College London. Now, this startup has developed a digital, low-cost and multi-line braille device for visually impaired people to access information. We have Carolina Gomez, Gregory Hargraves, Nina Moutonnet, Sergio Gonçalves and Visva Morthy from Team Paige, who join us. Looking a bit like University Challenge there on the screen. Guys, you have 3 minutes for your pitch, and your time starts now.
There are over 338 million people who have low vision worldwide, of which 43 million are blind. These people communicate using Braille, a tactile system which enables them to develop literacy. Shockingly, 74% of the blind adult population is unemployed, and this results in a global productivity loss of £299 billion per year. Literacy is key when addressing this issue, as Braille readers have higher employment rates. Braille users currently use refreshable Braille displays, very much like a Kindle tablet. However, these are prohibitively expensive and limited to a single line of text. And this makes them unsuited to material which requires context or spatial layout, such as mathematics or programming. We aim to change this. Our team is building Paige, the world's first low-cost and multi-line Braille display. It features 18 lines, each with 20 characters, and our novel technological approach allows us to reduce its price to £300. As well as a reading mode, Paige has the potential to become a graphing display and be used for writing as well. We have tested our prototype in a school for the visually impaired and have received very compelling feedback from Braille experts and accessibility specialists. We have also interviewed 16 Braille users who have confirmed the need for a device like Paige. Historically, there have been two technological approaches to this problem, and they both consist in using a single actuator per Braille dot, and this results in a production cost of £25 per character, whereas with our simple and innovative design, we can reduce this cost to less than £1 per character. With existing technology, controlling an A4 page of Braille would require 4,500 individual actuators, whereas with Paige, we can do this with only 3, while maintaining a refresh speed which can keep pace with the average Braille reader. Moreover, we're using manufacturing techniques with low tooling costs, off-the-shelf components, and readily available materials, and this makes our device simple to assemble and repair. We've already partnered up with the Kilimanjaro Blind Trust, the biggest Braille device distributor in Africa, and intend to do so with similar organizations in Europe and North America. And we estimate that we can reach in these areas 25,000 people in the first 5 years of sales. Our team is composed of 5 biomedical engineering students from Imperial College London. We're also being supported by members of Imperial's bioengineering department, by InDeGlub, by organizations in the world of Braille, and by experienced Braille users. We have already secured more than £10,000 in funding, and by securing tonight prize, we hope to finalize our MVP.
Carolina, I'm going to have to stop you there. I think we're just in. Well done. Well done, Team Paige. Whew, just scraped over the line. Fantastic. Some shocking stats at the beginning of your presentation there about employment within the blind community. Let's come over to judges for questions. Jerome, we're back to you for a question, please.
Thank you. Great presentation and a very important topic to tackle. As you mentioned, you are doing some work on the prototyping phase. So, of course, for prototyping, it's really the research and development phase is also to ask better questions in terms of the research and design, as well as the kind of development that you have to do. So my question is really, what did you learn to be the most critical point that you have to address now in your work to move this into a real product?
I guess the most challenging thing for us, as none of us is visually impaired, was to make sure that we were designing something that was actually useful for our end customers. So I guess the most challenging thing was ensuring they were enrolled in this design process from the beginning. And we actually did achieve this by enrolling with the Kilimanjaro Blind Trust and also having accessibility specialists in our advisory board. So I think that kind of solved our initial struggle of not knowing exactly what design specs we had to meet because our end customer had special needs than ourselves. But I don't know if anyone else in my team wants to elaborate a bit more on my answer.
No, I think we're happy. Well, let's use the time to get another question from Serge. Serge, a question for the team.
Thanks, Rob, and guys, really wonderful presentation. I want to ask a quick question on the competitive landscape. In my previous life, by pure coincidence, I came across a product called Canute 360, which also looked to create a sort of a multi-line Braille reader. Can you tell me how you're different and ideally better than what some of these competitors are working on?
So in terms of the competitors, as you said, the Canute is actually the only multi-line display out there in the market. The other competitors, as I mentioned, are limited to a single line of text. So therefore, they're unsuited to material like STEM. So Paige is different from that in that case. And in terms of the Canute, it's more our technological approach. As I mentioned, we were able to reduce significantly the number of actuators that are required to drive our mechanism. And this lowers our cost dramatically because the Canute has a price of £2,000, which is still quite expensive.
Just to add on to that, we're like big fans of the Canute team as well, but they've managed to reduce the number of actuators down to 98. And the mechanism behind their design is unable to extend to 8-dot Braille, which is a different sort of Braille, whereas our mechanism is able to achieve 8-dot Braille as well as 6-dot. And so there's things that our device is able to do that the Canute fundamentally can't.
Lovely. Thanks very much for your questions, judges. And thank you very much to Team Paige. Super job. Well done. We move on. Our fourth startup finalist is ChangeXtra, representing Nottingham Trent University. ChangeXtra uses counselling, coaching and access to learning to support and empower women going through the menopause. Claire Mann is developing a health tracking app that's integral to the service that ChangeXtra will provide. Claire, welcome to this evening. You have 3 minutes for your pitch and your time starts now.
Hi, I'm Claire Mann and I'm the founder of ChangeXtra. We're a business where women with lived experience support other women in the menopause through community, conversation and care. So the problem that I'm trying to address is the menopause, and you all know someone that this impacts because it happens to all women, and 85% will suffer at least one symptom. 1 in 4 women suffer debilitating menopause symptoms. We are undertreated and undermanaged. I know I am the 1 in 4. Women in their menopause suffer up to 34 debilitating symptoms, and the perimenopause period can last up to 10 years. Women don't really know what to expect, how to deal with it, or how to access the support that they need. So our market is the 1 billion women across the world between peri and full menopause. And the menopause has a huge impact on global health and business markets. So menopause links to osteoporosis. 50% of women over 50 will break a bone, and this has a huge financial cost, billions of pounds or dollars. It also has an impact on work economics. 14 million working days lost in the UK due to menopause symptoms, and nearly 1 million women left their careers due to this. It's time for this to stop. So what's the solution? The solution I've devised is what works for me: a community to make you feel less alone, conversation with more knowledgeable others, and care through a health tracking approach. Our community is a safe space for women, run by women, where they can have private conversations and share their experiences. Our conversation is appointments with menopause mentors who are women with lived experience who can support other women with all their menopause needs. And the solution to self-care that I've designed is a personalised health tracking app which can record symptoms, record impacts, and help women to really visualise what's going on with their own bodies. It will also give access to community and conversation. So why am I the right person to bring ChangeXtra to the market? I have a background in health research and I'm a recent student of data science. I won business planning competition and I've gone from plan to pilot in under 6 months. I plan to scale nationally and then internationally because this is a problem for women around the globe. But most importantly, I'm driven by my own experiences and what really helped me. I am the 1 in 4. I've had a horrible menopause experience, and this is one I don't want for my friends or my daughters. So I've engineered a solution using community, conversation, and care that will help all women through the menopause period. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much, Claire. Well done. Great presentation. You clearly set out the issues that you're trying to solve and to challenge with your solutions. Let's come over to our judges for their questions. Anna, we're back to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the presentation. Interestingly, it was only at the beginning of this week. It was the National Menopause Day, I suppose. So I suppose very topical from that point of view as well. So my question is about community building. So this is a community building app that you have proposed, and of course this is incredibly difficult. How do you propose to scale? So how will you be recruiting individuals? How will all of that happen, Claire? And then how will you be looking to monetize some of this as well?
So the community at the moment is on a social platform, so it's free and it's open access, and it's where I went really when I was looking for information. And we'll build that into the app, but it's already running and it's already gaining followers. And that's a private space, so I'm monitoring that. It links up together because in the appointments we'll be introducing women to the app so that they will be linked up to the idea of self-care. And then, of course, users will find the app independently and then be able to access the community and the conversation that way as well. We'll monetize through, we're running a free pilot of the appointments at the moment, which is going well. We will eventually charge for the appointments, and we'll charge either women directly. I'm also hoping to sell business to health insurers, but my ideal situation will be to sell directly into the NHS and have this commissioned through local PCNs and local GP practices so that really it's available to all women to access the support they need in terms of appointments. With the app, we'll have a free model, and then, of course, we'll have an advanced, enhanced subscription model as well.
Thank you very much, Claire. Thanks for your question as well, Anna. Andy, can I come to you for a question for Claire and ChangeXtra?
Yeah, again, a great presentation. The 900,000 people backing out of employment was a huge number there. I know it's an underserved market, but there are some competitors out there, I think, in terms of on Stella and with Alva, etc. I'd love your thoughts on how you differentiate from them and how you acquire a customer versus them.
Yeah, so the way that we're acquiring customers is we're starting regionally and offering free pilots of the appointments and promoting that, and that seems to be drawing the women in, and that will gain us users, I think, that will start using the app, and then we'll roll out on a regional basis through the UK, through the AHS and the regional health areas, promoting regionally sort of through one area at a time. And although there are some other apps on the market, I think what's novel about our app is that it's very much centred around women's lived experience, and so we've user tested it with women, and we're constantly updating it based on the way that women use it.
Great. We're going to have to leave it there, I'm afraid. Thank you, Anna and Andy, for your questions. And Claire, thank you for your presentation. Claire Mann with ChangeXtra from Nottingham Trent University. OK, we're on to our fifth startup finalist, who is Zama Digital from University of Exeter. Zama Digital provides a machine monitoring solution for manufacturers, offering real-time insights from manufacturing machinery to improve the efficiency and profitability of operations. James Tetlow is Zama Digital. James, welcome to the show this evening. I hope you're ready because you have 3 minutes for your pitch, and it starts right now.
Hi, I'm James Tetlow, founder of Zama Digital, and we empower manufacturers with their machine data, helping them to minimize downtime and maximize efficiency. The problem, the average rate of machine utilization is only 28.7% for manufacturing businesses. With the best-in-class operating at 80%, there is a large disparity between the average and the best, and we want to help bridge that gap. There is a market opportunity to increase UK manufacturing output by 51.3%. This is the equivalent to £98 billion for the UK economy, equivalent to 11% of the UK government expenditure. Our solution, we have a low-cost sensor which is retrofitted to production machinery. It collects operational data from the machines and sends it via Wi-Fi to our cloud-based platform. The manufacturer can then view their machine's data on their computers and tablets. Our product can be fitted to any machine of any age, make or model, meaning manufacturers can digitize even the oldest machines in their factory. This will allow them to truly understand how their assets are performing and allow them to implement process improvement processes and use our tool to benchmark the operational improvements and gains that they implement. Our product has a lower one-off cost per machine than our competitors. It also has a lower recurring cost compared to our competitors for those that offer it, meaning we are the most cost-effective machine monitoring solution on the market. We are also the only cloud-based solution that one device can connect to all machines and external systems. This is done through our open APIs, meaning we can add greater context to the data we collect from the machines, adding even more value for the manufacturer. Our product has a £25 monthly recurring revenue, and one sensor has a capital expenditure of £137, meaning the device pays for itself in month 5. Our break-even is 250 units on an annual subscription, meaning that's the equivalent to 25 customers with 10 machines. Our revenue projections from year 1 to 3 leave us with year 3 of around £300,000, but this could be accelerated with external investment. We currently have 40 devices installed in the field on 24 machine variations across 3 different manufacturing companies. We'll provide installation documentation for each machine so the manufacturers can do self-installations. To further encourage this, we'll offer financial rewards for self-installation, as well as referrals to spread the awareness of Zama Digital in the manufacturing community. We'll reinvest back into the business to improve our products and service, and this will include expanding our reporting features and the addition of maintenance and alerts. Thank you.
Well done, James. Bang on 3 minutes. Superb stuff. It certainly feels like the time is right now for this kind of remote data. Jerome, we're going to come across to you for a first question from our panel of judges, if I could, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very clear presentation, very well done. Very interesting problem as well. So, creating data to then determining the matching problem between job and machine is very important. I'm wondering, because the data has to be still utilized, so you create data, but it hasn't yet been used to optimize the process. Can you tell us a bit more on how the companies are using that data to optimize the process, and what are the key problems of utilizing machines at the moment?
Yeah, so one company that we're working with, so they've taken our data and they've combined it with their ERP system. This means that they know what job was on what machine at what time and how long they predicted that was going to take. They're then comparing that back to the actual time collected from our machine data and our platform. So they're feeding that information back into the production planning process. So they know next time they do that job, they have a more accurate understanding of how long that takes, so they can feed work through the factory more efficiently and also quote more accurately. So they have a better understanding of how to make a bigger profit on that job next time and be more accurate with their quoting understanding of that.
Thank you, James. Thanks for your question, Jerome. Serge, we've got time for a question from you, if we could, please.
Of course, just a quick one. So you mentioned some competitors, but this sensor market, or IoT space, as we often refer it to, is incredibly busy, and there are so many people coming into it. You've stated your sensors are cheaper than most of the current competition, but if you cast your mind into the future, where do you see your defensible strategy being? Because costs will come down for everybody. How will you continue to defend your own proposition?
Yeah, so for future developments, when we kind of build on the platform, we really want to go into kind of the energy market. So really understanding how the machines are utilizing their energy. So the big global push for net zero, manufacturers are looking at the overall output from their machines, but that's soon going to come down to departmental areas and individual machines. So being able to use our device to understand that and feed that information back to help manufacturers there. Obviously, starting with the machine monitoring, we can then move towards that in the future.
Lovely. Well, we've got time for one more question. Anna, a question for James?
I just wanted to understand in terms of your sort of conversations that you might have already had with prospective clients. What conversations have taken place, and any sort of key feedback or findings that you might have received from them?
Yeah, so when approaching manufacturers and showing them the solution, their main problem is they don't actually know how their machines are performing at a granular level. They can see from the start, so they see at the end how long the total process took, but they don't know if it was longer or shorter and where that difference occurred. So having that visibility so they can look back and understand how that job processed through their factory, that's really important to them. And so far, yeah, we've been very receptive from manufacturers, and they really like the idea that we can add our machine data into their ERP data, because that then gives them a really good understanding of how their factory is performing.
Great stuff. Thank you, Anna. Thank you very much, James Tetlow from Zama Digital at the University of Exeter. Thanks very much, James. OK, then, our sixth and last startup finalist, Team BoxFluence. Now, this startup is producing a portable boxing ring called GoSpar, which is easily transportable and lightweight to enable training anywhere at any time. Matti Papp and Ahmed Nassar are Team BoxFluence, representing the University of Aberdeen. And you guys came to us through the University of the Highlands and Islands Enterprise competition. Guys, welcome to the show this evening. Just like everybody else, just because you're last doesn't give you any special conditions. You have 3 minutes, and your time starts now.
Hello, thank you for the introduction. Save the best for last. My name is Matti. I'm an ex-amateur boxer, currently working as a boxing personal trainer. When I started boxing at Aberdeen University, boxing club trained 3 times a week, and for every session, you had to set up a floor boxing ring, just like the one shown on your screen. To assemble this box ring, at least 2 people had to work for around 30 minutes. This is where the idea of creating an easy setup and transporter boxing ring came to me. So we set up a company called BoxFluence to design and create innovative combat boxing equipment. So we want to disrupt this marketplace with our cool and new products. I met my business partner Ahmed while we were studying engineering at Aberdeen, and we've now designed a new transportable, easy boxing ring, which can be set up by just 1 person in around 7 minutes. As you can see, it also fits in a regular UK car. It's much more compact than anything on the market. And what this means is, what's really important here is that it reduces labor time, increases boxing time. So the personal trainer of boxing can train for longer and they start the session faster. However, we can also be set up outdoors, which was a huge selling point when we were contacting our potential customers. We managed to secure an investor who shares our vision and invested £10,000. With the investment, we filed a UK patent, trademarked our company and our product, GoSpar. We also been granted design rights, and for the rest of the money we use for fabricating our demonstrator model.
Absolutely. So it's been absolutely great so far. We've spoken to around 300 gyms and 100 boxing personal trainers, and the response so far has been absolutely great. We've developed great relationships with them already. Added to the fact that Matty and I were already in the industry prior to starting BoxFluence, we now are very well connected in the industry. We've set up a mailing list with people with intent to buy, which has added up to around 100 people. So we've definitely confirmed that the demand is there. However, this is all great, but we need supply in order to sell. So with our current model, which we've currently been experimenting with, we designed it conservatively such that it's a bit overweight. We've played with it, and we've now found out that with a minor modification, we can actually shave off some weight, further adding to our USP and confirming that it's lightweight, easy to transport, and everything that these gyms need. So our vision is to influence through boxing. We have an ambitious vision for the long term to create the BoxFluence Foundation, to influence youth through boxing, and also to create boxing equipment, boxing fight gear, boxing gloves out of recycled material. And this is all part of the long-term plan that we have, along with innovating other innovative training equipment. Thank you.
Ahmed and Matti, well done, guys. Thank you very much. We're going to come straight over to our judges. Andy, we're back to you for a question for the boys.
Cool, and thank you. A great presentation. I love the fact you talked to so many gyms and personal trainers. As always, it makes it feel very, very real. Yeah, I think your differentiator is that it's very quick to assemble and you can use it outdoors, and it sounds like it's lighter as well now. I think you mentioned in the materials, if not in the presentation, that it's an 800 million market. With those differentiators, what proportion of that market do you think you can access here, and how do you think you'll go about that?
Well, for the market of gyms and personal trainers, we definitely think we can access the full market. And this is due to the fact that while we were showing the product in gyms and also showing it to personal trainers, several of them wanted to buy it there and then on the spot. So we believe that wherever there's a boxing personal trainer who needs to travel to their clients, rather than conforming to certain cones to simulate the environment of boxing ring, we think that we can access 100% of the market out there.
Thank you very much, Andy. Jerome, we'll come to you for a question, please.
Yeah, thank you. Very interesting presentation. I guess I have a question on the kind of the next steps in terms of manufacturing. So how do you see the manufacturing going forward?
So we've been in talks with the same manufacturer that developed this model that you can see in the picture, and we've been in talks with them. So right now we know the demand is there, and we've basically got green light in terms of we have them on standby to produce, and it's a lead time of about 2 months. So we're planning to start a pre-order campaign where the customer or the potential client will have to pay a certain percentage of the fee, and then we will deliver it to them within 2 months.
Great, thank you. And we've got time for one last question. I mean, Serge, as head judge, you started with the questions, and it feels only right that you should end as well. Serge, a final question for the boys.
Thanks, and of course, as somebody who has Rocky IV as his favorite ever movie, this is obviously an area of real passion for me. I'd like to just ask a question about the scalability of your commercial model. Yeah, as you sell more of these units, is there a way to increase the profit margin, or are you always going to be manufacturing plus margin on top? How does the model scale going forward?
Well, yeah. So as that's a good point, because in the short term we'll be dealing with a certain manufacturer or two, and obviously the more manufacturers we deal with, the more we may compromise quality control. Down the line, what we look to do is we would try to buy in our own facilities, and having the right equipment and the right sort of number of employees, we can try to keep manufacturing under our own hands and keep checking them out non-stop, so to speak. But then further scaling up, we would probably be looking at a partner with the right big capabilities. And then, of course, that would enhance our profit margin.
Lovely. Thanks very much, guys. We're going to have to leave that there. Thank you, judges, for the questions. And thank you, chaps. Team BoxFluence, representing the University of Aberdeen and the University of Highlands and Islands. Well, that's it, guys. Our 10 finalists have all been pitched. Well done, and congratulations to you all. I mean, I know that is not an easy task, especially in 3 minutes. Well, hopefully now you can all sit back and relax a little bit, well, to some extent anyway. In my view, they all have superb merit and were very well presented. Thank you all. But it's now up to the judges to decide which 2 big ideas and which 2 startups will be our runners-up and winners tonight. Judges, I certainly do not envy you. That's an incredibly tough job that you have on your hands. And we said that at the beginning, but now we've seen the presentations. I mean, it's there for us all to see. That is a tough, tough job. So I'm going to let you head off to have your discussions, and we'll see you after your deliberations. Thank you very much for your questions throughout that process as well. Thank you, guys. And for everybody watching, here's a brief recap of all our terrific finalists tonight. We have Team 1, Lighthouse, with a tracker device for vulnerable people. Team 2, AuraGen, with a wind turbine for the roofs of houses. Team 3, GOAB BioEngineers, with composite boards made from plastic waste. Team 4 was Cycles to Vehicles, with a standalone post-mounted camera at busy road junctions to improve cycle safety. Team 5 was Wireless Wild, with Wild Lens, measuring ecosystem change and impact. Team 6 was Revolancer, a digital platform to connect businesses with specialist remote working freelancers. Team 7 was Paige, with a low-cost and multi-line braille device. Team 8, ChangeXtra, providing information and support for women going through the menopause. Team 9 was Zama Digital, a monitoring solution to provide manufacturing efficiency. And we've just heard from Team 10, BoxFluence, with its portable boxing ring. And so now it's your turn to pick your winner for the audience prize. Now, in the hub interface, there are 10 buttons for the 10 teams, and you can only vote once for a team. And the voting process is now open, and you have 5 minutes to get your vote in. So make sure you do that. That cup of tea that you want, that can wait till after. You've got 5 minutes, get the vote in. And while you're making up your minds, we have some very special guests to tell you about their careers as engineers in business. First up, I spoke earlier with our head judge, Serge Taborin. Serge is a senior executive with over 20 years of global management experience, which has included chairman and NED roles in startup, scale-up and FTSE 100 organisations in London and in the Silicon Valley. I started by asking him how his engineering background helped him lead digital transformation in companies both large and small.
Well, Rob, it's been instrumental. To me, engineering is about technology, it's about scientific principles behind it. But what sets engineers apart is the ability to apply that technology to real-life problems and derive practical solutions for everyday users. And if you think about digital transformation, it's all about reimagining how something can be done, and then it's about problem-solving to make it happen. And I really can't think of another discipline that provides so many rounded skills and prepares people for this crazy, changing world that we now live in.
It's interesting that in your career, you've been both an entrepreneur and an intrapreneur, leading transformation in large companies. So is your approach different or the same for those two sides?
No, they are two very different challenges. In large corporates, you typically start with certain assets like the existing customer base, resources that you can invest in innovation, subject matter expertise that you can tap into. But you also inherit an organizational structure that's not really suited for innovation. It's the organizational structure that supports business of today rather than something that disrupts it. And you often also inherit all the technology that you really need to modernize or replace. As an entrepreneur, it's kind of the opposite of that. You have all the flexibility and agility that you need, but you need to work on getting the customers and the business model in place. And so depending on where you sit on this side of the argument, it's really about understanding the advantages that you have at your disposal and dealing with inherent hurdles that are in your way.
Now, you founded a startup called GOAB a few years ago. Can you tell us a bit about that experience of starting up something from scratch?
Yes, that brings back some very happy memories for me. GOAB was a mobile ordering and payments platform that looked to eliminate queuing in busy venues like sports stadia and busy bars, pubs, coffee shops. And first off, I would say that the whole process of coming up with your own idea, turning that into a product and building a business was hands down the most exhilarating and rewarding experience of my entire career. And I think I learned more in 3 years of running a startup than in 15 years of my corporate experience prior to that. But it also taught me a lot about myself. You know, as an entrepreneur, you learn a lot about things that you're good at and things that you're not so good at. And you have to find a way to deal with those before it drags your business down. So when it comes together, though, the sense of achievement and confidence that gives you is quite incredible.
Now, can you tell us a bit about your current position? And let me get this right. Head of Government Digital Transformation at Amazon Web Services. I mean, that sounds like a huge responsibility involved in that.
Well, if you think about the government sector and you think about the customer experience that you get when you deal with the government, it's very, very different to what you experience in the private sector, whether you're booking a holiday or communicate to your friends and family or bank and everything. And it's because the government sector has fallen behind the pace of technology change. And that introduces a whole number of challenges. Some are, of course, with the services that they provide, but it's also about the cost of maintaining all that aging infrastructure. And it also creates vulnerabilities that leave certain areas exposed to cyber attacks. So that's what we do. We work with governments globally to help them modernize and change their technology infrastructure on a huge scale, as well as dealing with issues like data privacy and data security, skills development. They also need to be put in place. It's been a challenging but a fascinating journey.
Now, as an active angel investor and advisor, you're currently working with a portfolio of over 20 different companies, is it? So what is it about these companies that interests you in investing or advising them?
So, when I exited my own startup and reflected on that journey, two things struck me. Firstly, the potential of entrepreneurial ecosystem to change entire industries. And secondly, the fact that I'd made so many mistakes along the way, and I felt that that experience could be really useful to the next generation of entrepreneurs that are coming along. And I tend to work with entrepreneurs who are really on a mission to change industries. And I use that word mission deliberately because you can often distinguish between entrepreneurs who are more interested in financial returns and those that are emotionally, passionately invested in solving the problem that they're trying to solve. And I find that the latter group tends to be far more successful, and selfishly, I find it very inspiring and humbling to be on that journey with them.
Oh, what kind of question should an investor looking to invest in a startup be asking?
So investing in startups is not an exact science. There's a lot of art to it, and different investors will have different views on this. But certainly there are some common themes that I think all startups should bear in mind and have a very ready answer to. It starts with the problem you're solving and the customer that you're solving it for. This is really what investors really care about. Why is there an opportunity and how big is the opportunity? The other things I will look at is why you? What makes you so special and better than anyone else to solve this problem? Then there's the question of timing. I always ask the question of why now? Is the market really ready for your product? I would ask about the competition. And then, of course, finally, about the business model. How will you ultimately make money from your venture? But investors are looking to get a little bit more comfortable with the size of the opportunity and the team that they're investing in and their ability to solve that opportunity, solve that problem for their customers.
And finally, Serge, what's the best piece of advice you think you can offer to our finalists who are all looking to attract investment into their startups?
So I would say always remember that getting investment on board is a two-way process. And in some ways, it's almost like a corporate marriage. And like in real marriage, you wouldn't just let somebody through your front door just because they're waving a checkbook at you. You should be equally careful about who you bring on board as an investor. Because a good investor will become a trusted advisor, they'll become a pillar of support in the time of crisis, they'll open doors for you, they'll make connections. Whereas bad investors can often act as a drain on your time, and that's something you simply can't afford to do. So I would say always do your research on investor, maybe look at what else they've invested in, talk to those startups to see what they think. But always remember that it's your business, it's your baby, and you are giving a part of it away to someone. So whoever you give it away to, make sure that you're comfortable, that you can work with them in the long term.
As a marriage.
As a marriage.
So thank you very much for your time. It's a real pleasure getting a bit of an insight into your experience and your expertise. Thank you.
My pleasure, Rob.
Right, that's it. Pens down. Voting is now closed. There's nothing more you can do to affect the outcome of our public vote prizes. And I'd like to welcome back David Falzani MBE to announce those winners of both the pre-show and the audience prizes. David, over to you.
Thank you so much, Rob. So here we go. I'm very happy to announce that the winners of the pre-show award are Team GOAB BioEngineers, who will be receiving £500 towards their big idea. And this lovely trophy will also be on its way to you. So well done to you very much indeed. And the winners of the audience prize, which everyone watching was able to vote for, is Team Revolancer, who will also be receiving £500 towards their startup. And they'll also be receiving a splendid trophy. So very well done to you as well.
Well done, Team GOAB BioEngineers and Team Revolancer. The people really liked your ideas. But we're over to the judges now. Will they feel the same way? Well, the judges have definitely had a very tough job. And look, they're all very highly experienced professionals, but even so, I wouldn't bank on them coming out of their deliberations anytime early. And for me, that's a great thing, because that gives us time to hear from some excellent guest speakers that we have lined up. I'm very pleased to welcome now Dame Anne Richards, who is a Sainsbury Management Fellow and the CEO of Fidelity International. Her career path spans many blue-chip global names in the financial sector, including Alliance Capital, JP Morgan, Merrill Lynch Investment Managers, and Aberdeen Asset Management. Dame Anne, welcome this evening. I believe you've agreed to share your insights on how large companies and fintechs can partner efficiently. Let me hand over to you.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's absolutely fantastic to be here, and how brilliant it was listening to those presentations. I'm really thrilled to be here and to be talking to everybody on such a great occasion. It does fill me with enthusiasm and excitement about what the world has ahead of us if we've got so many great ideas coming around about us. But I thought I would try and pick up on something that Serge mentioned in his interview just now, which I think is so important and sometimes very challenging, which is how large companies like mine can bridge and work with very differently minded entrepreneurial startups and scale-ups. Because like I think most of you watching, I started life as an engineer, an electrical engineer, then moved into software and technology. And then after my MBA, went into the investment world and then ended up running Fidelity International. And we have close to $800 billion of assets that we look after, of other people's money. We've got well over 10,000 employees. We operate in more than 25 countries globally. We have more than 2.5 million customers. That's a big company. It's an intricate, complicated company. One of our biggest challenges is how we stay fresh, how we stay innovative. And it is by partnering with startups, with more innovative, smaller companies, that we will manage to do that. But I thought I would give you a little bit of a perspective on what that means from where I sit. So if you look at my industry, if you look at the financial services industry generally, it is going through a massive redesign. And I'm willing to bet that a lot of you on this call are very aware of that. And it's because of this dramatic shift over the last 10 years that we've seen the acceleration towards digitization. So when I was a student, if you wanted to pay a bill, you went into your bank, you queued up, you handed over real money and you did something with it. Now you do everything on an app. You know all of that. In the future, if digital central bank currencies become a thing, you might end up having a digital wallet actually on the Bank of England's balance sheet. How strange would that be? And for us in my world, this digitization actually is about streamlining quite long, quite complex, quite convoluted, end-to-end administrative chains that connect individual savings, yours and my individual savings, all the way through to those listed companies, those listed companies that you know and will recognize as high street names. And maybe some of you will hope one day that you will list on the stock exchange your startups and your businesses, your business ideas that you're thinking about today. Now, you see the front end in terms of the way that we engage with customers, because everybody now is on mobile, everybody has an app, but actually it's what happens behind the scenes, the middle and the back office, that is much more complex, and it's still really, really analog. There's historically a ton of manual processes in there. It's very error prone. It's often difficult to scale effectively. And for me, my challenge is how can we streamline this in a way that makes our life, that makes our clients' lives, and of course, makes our regulators really happier and easier to monitor. So the good news is that I suppose in one sense, we've not found anybody who's going to totally revolutionize this because it might put us out of business. But increasingly, we are finding that working with startups, working with smaller businesses, we can find companies who can take individual pieces of this long and complex chain and make them dramatically simpler, really solve individual pieces of that puzzle in a new and a different way. And so we want to partner with them. We don't want to have to design everything from scratch ourselves. But we know small businesses find it really difficult to navigate the complexity of large companies, and particularly highly regulated ones like financial services. Small companies come into our world and really struggle to understand, why does it take so long to get a decision? Why can't they just do something which seems blindingly obvious? Well, the reason is it's probably because we're not allowed to. So how have we tried to work to get around that? Well, the first thing that we did was 3 years ago, we set up our Fidelity International Strategic Ventures team. And that is a team that aims to invest in emerging companies and emerging technologies that are either creating new markets, that are enhancing the returns on the investments that we look after for our customers, or improving on those difficult and challenging operational processes that I mentioned. And sometimes we can see an opportunity, for example, to build out in a new asset class, like we've done recently in private markets, or maybe find a way, I mentioned the regulatory challenges, find a way of navigating the complexities of the compliance monitoring that we have to do. So that team joins the dots between real world problems that we have within our business and the startups. They go out and find the startups, they find the new companies that are working on a technological solution to them. And once we identify those partner companies, we invest in them, and then we try and work with them in our business. And that's when the fun and sometimes the pain starts. As I said, we work across multiple different time zones, multiple different locations, multiple different regulators. We're complicated. We know that. To partner successfully with smaller companies that maybe only have one location, a small number of employees, one unique product, we've had to change what we do in order to be able to work with them better. So we have wrestled with this. So in addition to creating the strategic ventures team who lead on the investment side, we have 2 initiatives that we do within our business really to help us change our behavior so we can be better partners for smaller, faster moving, more innovative companies. The first bit of that is our Innovation Council, which is a group of 12 senior leaders from all parts of the business who meet regularly to think about what are the threats, what are the problems, and what are the opportunities that they see going on around them. And the council aims to break us out of our silos. Where are our blind spots? Where are we most vulnerable to disruption? Because we know we are. And that helps us then allocate the resources so that we can make sure that we don't just carry on incrementally with the status quo. We get ready to do the big leaps if the big leaps are things that could really take us to a different, better place. And the second part of this, and it's a really important part, is to create a sandbox environment where we can experiment. Because time moves very differently in our world to the small startup world. Like I said, we can be big and slow. We know that. We've got a big governance workload and a big regulatory compliance need. We can't afford, in many aspects of what we do, not to get it right first time. Experimentation in a live environment can be really dangerous. So we've set up a sandbox environment, which is like a neutral zone where we can allow for that experimentation, where we can put our technologists together with the businesses that we're trying to partner with, really to try and see if a great idea can be transformed into a reality. And by doing that, we hope that ultimately we will be an easier company for startups and more innovative companies to do business with. And some of the partnerships that we've got underway, which are really successful, are one with Steeli, which is a compliance and a data analytics firm, and another's with Moonfare, which is the leading digital investment platform for private markets. So they've been transformational in our business, and we're really excited about what the future holds. So to sum up, and I'm going to, because I know there's tons of other stuff that you still want to get through, so I'm going to sum up very quickly. We're very conscious that the world of finance is reinventing itself, and we've got to do the same at Fidelity. And partnering with smaller, more innovative companies like fintech companies will really help us do that, help us take advantage of new opportunities, but also minimize the threats to business as usual. So it forces us as a company to think long term and think about the risk of disruption to our business. Now, it's a mindset shift. It's a cultural necessity. It's not easy to do, but it's something that we absolutely have to do. And for the entrepreneurs out there, I hope that you will find more companies taking this approach to help you navigate as you're ready to scale up, to move and work with bigger companies. I'm going to end with a great quote by a 17th century philosopher. You might think that's not very obvious. It's Sir Francis Bacon, who I'm sure some of you may have heard of. But he had a great quote. He said, "They that will not apply new remedies must expect new evils, for time is the greatest innovator." And basically, in other words, that means if you don't evolve, you're doomed to obsolescence. So good luck this evening. Fantastic ideas. I hope they come to fruition. Thank you very much for listening. Back to you, Rob.
Dayman, thank you so much. I find it fascinating what you talk about there. The importance of digitisation, how that's been in your sector, because I know that is such a key thing now across so many industries. But also I find it really fascinating how large companies, as you say, are having to acknowledge how they have to change, and there's no complacency involved between the size of companies. I found that really, really fascinating. Thank you so much. Now, I also understand that you and your husband Matthew, who is also a Sainsbury Management Fellow, have sponsored the Enterprise Award for this evening. Can you tell me a little bit why you think it's so important to be supporting engineering startups like this through schemes like these awards?
Look, it's so important. Enterprise is the lifeblood of the economy, and one of the great investors in the UK is somebody called Peter Davis, and he said something to me quite recently, which I think is just so true, that the world is changed by enthusiasts, and enterprise and enthusiasm go hand in hand. So I think it's so important to the economy. It's so important to making sure that it continues to adapt, and frankly helps us change some of these massive problems that we face into, whether it's in healthcare or manufacturing, or in my sector in financial services. We need imagination, we need creativity, we need enterprise, really to help us face into some of those big problems that are out there and find the answers.
Well, Dayman, thank you so much indeed for your time this evening, and for yours and Matthew's generous contribution to these awards. Thank you, Dayman. Now, our next guest is Elvin Turner, an award-winning advisor to global corporations, governments, non-profit organisations and startups around the world. And he wrote the bestseller book, Be Less Zombie. And he'll be telling us exactly how to do that right now. Elvin, over to you. But first of all, can you tell me, how did you come up with an unusual title for your book like this?
Yeah, well, it started off at a business school event, actually, Henley Business School, and I was there to try and tease out for the audience, what is it that these unicorn companies that you hear about, companies that are worth $1 billion or more, and they're taking over the world, the Ubers, the Airbnbs, what are they doing that other people aren't doing, the bigger companies that aren't doing? So we had this event, and I needed something to do at the beginning. So I said, okay, we're going to draw a line at the front of the room. At one end, you're a kind of a unicorn company. You're hot, you're red hot relevant. At the other end, well, we need something else. What animal, what beast, what creature could we have that's lurching for its next meal? It's the living dead. And we came up with zombie. And then I asked people to go and stand on the line where they felt their company was in terms of innovation. And everybody ran to the zombie end. So I thought, maybe we're onto something here. We came up with this idea of be less zombie principles, as well as trying to pursue a little bit more of the unicorn vibe. So that's where it came from.
Thank you, Elvin. And I understand you've a lot more to tell us about this evening. Yeah.
Well, there's one particular idea that I wanted to share with you. So I guess if my slides are up on the screen, yeah, that's it. Great, thank you. So I wanted to share this idea of the 50-50 mindset. You know, if you read books about entrepreneurs, you hear about all kinds of different characteristics that make them stand out and succeed. As I've been researching and writing and working with these organizations for many years now, I've just latched onto this idea that I want to unpack for a couple of minutes this evening. Before I do, I know that students love free stuff. I love free stuff. Everyone loves free stuff. So tonight, I've broken out of the book one chapter that you can download for free. If you go to elvinturner.com, it's just on the front page, click the button, you can download it tonight. It's about the mindset that we're talking about tonight. I can't really leave it up there for any longer than one night because I'm not really supposed to do it for too long. So go and grab that tonight. Hopefully you'll find some tools in there that are useful. So let's unpack this 50-50 mindset. So what am I talking about here? I think I'm the zombie hands to come and grab you. So this 50-50 mindset, it's about being, in my mind, 50% Sherlock. It's half Sherlock. It's about pursuing the truth. The last thing you want to do as an entrepreneur is to spend your time wasting effort, time, resources, chasing fantasy, something that isn't even going to happen. Your job as an entrepreneur is to define reality as quickly as you can about whether this opportunity is real. So I'm going to unpack that in a moment on how you can do that very quickly. And secondly, maybe counterintuitively, half cage fighter. Now, this guy here is called Malcolm Hassan. He trains cage fighters, and he was in the book. He's given me some really interesting insights that I think apply very neatly to entrepreneurs about the mindset you need to inhabit to be able to take a punch, to endure a grueling, a battering when things don't go quite as you expected. How do you bounce back? There's lots of overlap and some lessons that I quickly want to share. So let's start with our friend Sherlock. Now, the sad truth is for many entrepreneurs that most new ideas fail, particularly the big, bold ideas. The data bears this out. There's many reasons for that, but there is one thing that founders have control over that is probably one of the most important factors as to whether you're going to actually succeed or not. And that is this idea of pursuing truth versus theatre. It can be very easy to get carried away with people like your mum and your friends and people who like you and know you to tell you things that you want to hear, to make you feel good. And maybe you get some PR around your idea and you get, TechCrunch is the thing to be seen on page 1 of TechCrunch. That's all great, but it's not really real. What you really need is objective data that tells you, is this a real opportunity or not? And to what extent do I have control and the ability to scale this thing and make it work? That ability to find truth and define reality is the number one job. And when I'm working with teams, a statement that I like to get them to work with as quickly as possible is this: this will only work if. And now spend half an hour writing down all of the dependencies, what would need to be true for that grand vision that we have, that great idea out there working, customers buying it, by the cartload. What would need to be true for that to actually happen? Customer behaviors, distribution patterns, pricing, business model, and start to create a picture of reality about what would need to be true. And the second thing, which is even harder, is then ask informed people to come in and ask them, what did I miss? What else is there? What are my blind spots here? Because you want to deal in reality as soon as possible, map assumptions, and then go and test those assumptions to see whether we are actually onto anything here. The biggest area that I see where we make mistakes here, and I've been in startups that have failed as well, I've fallen down these same holes myself, is around the customer. We assume that customers usually are going to be much more enthusiastic about the offering than they really are. And often there actually isn't a customer. There's a customer that says that they will buy and they never show up. What happened? Well, something that I encourage people to do is think very early about who are your hair on fire customers. So this guy is a hair on fire customer. He so urgently needs your solution that he is ready to throw money at you. He said, come and help me. Give me that thing that you've got. And your job is to find those people as quickly as possible, if they exist. And you can learn so much from them. You can understand what context they're in. What are the challenges that they're facing? What help might they need to become a customer? Have they got the skills? Have they got the resources and the finances? Those people are so passionate about solving the problem, they will be great collaborators with you in helping you find the next stage on. They're really helpful to help you define reality about, is this a thing? Is this likely to go anywhere right at the early stages? So be more Sherlock. That's half the equation. The other half is Malcolm. It's a funny name for a guy who trains cage fighters, maybe, but believe me, he's mean. Well, he's not. He's lovely actually, but he's tough and pretty scary. So what did I learn from him about what it takes to have the mindset of an entrepreneur? Well, he would say, when you get into the ring, it very rarely plays out as you expect. You have your fight plan, you have a vision for the opponent on the floor, but it usually goes somewhere very different. And that's the case with entrepreneurship. Get used to different. Get used to that before you step into the ring. Don't think that your journey is going to be like this. It won't. It never goes according to plan. You can have a vision, but expect a journey that's much more like this. There are unforeseens that you haven't foreseen yet. There are unexpecteds out there just waiting. And the quicker that you can adopt that mindset, the better. And be prepared for the fact that things aren't going to go as you expected to. That gives you a baseline of resilience. The next point is, don't take it personally. You are not your idea. Make sure you separate them, because when you get all this great objective feedback from people and customers, and people let you down and money doesn't show up as you thought, you can sometimes pull that into your own self and start to get down on yourself. And that can be a dark place to go to. So become aware of when you're starting to take feedback personally, and make sure you're objectively applying it to the idea. Now, when Malcolm was telling me about what he does in boxing, he says, you're getting pulverized by the opponent, you make it to the bell, you sit down, you don't know whether you even want to get back up again. Psychologically, emotionally, you've been pulverized. Physically, you need to surround yourself with people who can tell you the truth, who can encourage you, who can see things that you can't see because emotionally you're blinkered. And the corner man in the boxing ring is your friend. He's the person that gets you, or she gets you to the next round, tells you how to fight. It's the same with a council of advisors that you need to put yourself around you, who understand you, understand the market, understand the journey you're on, and can be that objective, tough love friend that you really need, because it can get lonely. Now, as you go along the journey, I'm working with someone at the moment who's been in a music startup for 4 years. That's a long time to be going on this journey and still not quite finding traction. Return to purpose regularly. Remind yourself why you got into this game in the first place. It's really great soul food to remember, what's the difference we're trying to make here? What's the needle that we're trying to move here? What's the problem we're trying to solve here? The more you can remind yourself about that in the face of adversity, the more likely you're going to pull your boots up again and you're going to go again. But it definitely helps to have people around you. So learn to take a punch. So summary is pursue truth, not theatrics. Not interested in the theatrical side of things. You need to deal in reality. Is this an opportunity worth my time, effort, resources, life? And secondly, learn to take a punch. Particularly remember the why, and tell your team. Keep telling them why. Keep telling them why, because they are going to go through some tough times themselves. Now, my final point is this. I would be very surprised if in the journey that you've been on, building these new ideas, that something hasn't triggered inside of you. Something's been born in you, which is you suddenly realize you like to make stuff. You like to build stuff. You want to change things. You can see a vision for something and you want to be part of that journey. Now, the world needs that right now more than perhaps ever before. So even if you don't win tonight, keep going with your idea, perhaps, if it turns out that you're getting some good traction, some good data around that. But even if you don't, start to hang around with people who think like you, want to change the world like you, because you will find yourself bumping into people who are like-minded, like-hearted, who want to do the things that you want to do. And there aren't enough of us around. So be prepared to go again. So last chance, go and grab that chapter if you haven't already got it. I guess I'll hand back now to you, Rob.
Elvin, thank you very much. Some fascinating characterisation of some of these concepts and challenges, barriers that our competitors will surely face. And I do urge you to go and take Elvin up on his offer. Elvin, thank you very much. Our final guest tonight, and one of our judges, is Sainsbury Management Fellow Andy Phillipps. Andy is an entrepreneur, an angel investor and venture partner. He invests and works with tech startups and sometimes teaches at business schools. He's the former CEO of Priceline International Operations, including Booking.com, and was co-founder of Active Hotels, which eventually merged to become what is now Booking.com. Andy, welcome. Let me start by asking you what you think makes for a successful startup. We'll get there.
I beg your pardon.
Here we go.
Sorry, Rob. Can you...
No problem. Yeah, no, loud and clear. Over to you, Andy.
Fantastic. Thank you, Rob. Sorry for the incompetence on the mute button. In terms of what makes a successful startup, it's tremendously context specific. The one unifying factor is the team. You need a well-balanced team. You need the enthusiasm, but the lack of delusional enthusiasm, as Elvin was pointing out a second ago. So there are many, many factors, but the consistent one always is the team.
And
cool.
Please carry on.
Sorry, I beg your pardon. I was going to talk today, I think, about the key success factors for a startup. I normally teach on this subject, and it takes about 30 hours. I've got 7 minutes today, and hence my slightly frantic manner here. Excuse me. Cool. Before I start, there's something you should know. I am the only person ever to have failed the entrepreneurship course at INSEAD. There were 27 modules. The only one I failed was the entrepreneurship one. And I was the only person after my course to go and set up on my own and run a startup. So I'm not entirely sure what that says about me. What it says to you is that you should listen to my advice with some skepticism, because I failed the course that I'm now teaching you about. So the 4 personal success factors that I've found really useful when I set up my businesses are enthusiasm, people, making money, and just make a decision. And they are not typical MBA bits of advice, but hopefully I can elucidate a bit what they mean. And I can just commend the previous speaker. If I only had him around when I first set up, I would have saved myself an awful lot of grief. So thank you, Elvin. The first thing I want to get across is enthusiasm is your key asset here. And to put this in context, when I first set out, I was trying to persuade people to join me. I was trying to persuade people to become my customers, trying to persuade people to give me money, etc. And at the point you're trying to persuade them, you don't have any money, you don't yet have an office, you don't yet have any product, you don't have any colleagues, you don't have any customers. There's really not very much you have got. But the one thing you have got here is enthusiasm. You've got a drive, a vision, and enthusiasm to try and make that happen. So really don't underestimate that. It can make far more happen than you might expect. I remember turning up at a very large multinational saying, well, I was going to build the largest hotel booking company in the world. It felt slightly delusional, but it was strangely convincing, and we managed to get an exclusive deal with them. So it's really, really valuable here. As Elvin says, it can't be delusional, and it also needs to be robust here. Most of the projects and most startups fail. So Winston Churchill defined success as stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. And that really resonated for me. 70%, I think, of all our projects within Booking.com failed. And yet it's now over 100 billion market cap company here. So even with a lot of failure, you can carry on and be successful. You have to maintain your level of energy and your level of enthusiasm. And that's quite hard to do, which brings me to my next slide. I urge the founders that I work with now to try and write down what is important to them. And often it comes out that they want to continue to have fun. They want to maintain relationships with their friends and with their family. And there are lots of people who run a business and it doesn't work. And they find that they've devoted too little time to some of the other things that are important in their life. And that destroys their balance. It destroys their ability to make decisions. And it's very, very stressful. So even though it sounds a bit counterintuitive as an investor now, I really urge the founders I work with to try and keep some balance in their life. And the reason for this picture is my balance was windsurfing. I used to get out and it was very hard to think of anything else when I was struggling to get back to the shore. Which brings me to the next point, people. this is my co-founder, and this is me when I was young and still shiny. And we were trying to persuade people that we had a great team. And the investors, in no uncertain terms, said, you haven't got a great team. They told us it needs to be balanced. You need a balance of skill set, not just two engineers, which is what we were. You need to be connected to the industry. We knew nothing about hotels at all at that point, and you need to be aligned on the mission, which we probably were. And based on that feedback, we went out and we tried to persuade a lot of people to join. So we managed to persuade someone from Ernst & Young to join, an ops manager who'd previously been managing 2,500 people, a marketing manager who she was managing a marketing division of Danone and had worked at Bain. And then on a non-exec and the advisor side, we managed to persuade the founder of the largest hotel booking company in the world to join us. And this was really by stalking him. We hung around outside his house, literally, and tried to persuade him to join. And he found it so amusing in the end that he agreed to join the board. Yeah. And suddenly, we were a great team. We had a balance of skill sets and we had some real expertise, and it made it a lot easier to scale the business. And as Elvin was pointing out earlier, the other people that are critically important and often not getting enough attention are your customers. We talked to 760 hotels before we launched, personally, between myself and Adrian. And the one thing I urge the startups I work with to try and do is to get the voice of the customer into their business. And ideally, it's that hair on fire customer, but you really want to be basing your strategy and your vision, etc., on the needs of your customer. Too often I see macro research saying 31.6% of the UK population thinks this, etc. There is no substitute for talking to customers on a daily basis. The next point is making money. This sounds rather trite. Of course you want to make money, but the reason I wanted to talk about this is I see this in every pitch that I come across. This is your financial plan. I've drawn it for you. I've been really helpful. The vertical axis always has squillions of dollars, and the bottom axis is always time, and it always goes up rapidly to the right. Yeah. And unfortunately, most startups don't work. Yeah. So this graph is pretty useless. It's a work of fiction in most cases. What I urge people to spend more time on is the unit economics. And what I mean by that is think about selling one of you, whatever your product is. How much do you think you could sell it for, and can you verify that pricing? And then how much would it really cost to sell it? And by really cost to sell it, I mean, think of everything. This is the sales cost, the marketing cost, the manufacturing, the delivery, training and support, and most importantly, handling the screw-ups. When it goes wrong, how do you sort that out? Because if you're going to have any failures in your product and it's going to cost you thousands to sort them out, that can become a material cost of sale. Yeah, and obviously one needs to be more than two, but ideally one needs to be a lot more than two, because you'll probably have forgotten something. Yeah, and having a really healthy gross margin in your product is really helpful, which is why software is often such a good business model. And finally, I want to talk about just make a decision. And I think this is a personal one for me, actually. I've done a PhD in materials engineering. I was very good at analysis. I came out with lots of tools from the MBA. And I could always find a reason to try and get more data, to try and work out what the right answer is. And in business, you don't need to know with 95% what the right answer is. You need to know with more than 50%. And so there's a cliche or truism that a wrong decision is better than no decision here. And I put the often in here because I think it does depend a bit on the context. If you're trying to design an aircraft, you want to make damn sure you've got the right decision. But in most business contexts, it is far better to be urgent and fast than to always strive for exactly the right answer. And then importantly, once you've acted, learn, measure whether it's worked or not, and optimize it. And finally, and this is one of my success factors as well, have good luck. We saw some fantastic pictures earlier, and thank you for all the effort to put them together. Many entrepreneurs forget that good luck is an absolutely critical component of a successful business. I know I had loads of it, and I wish you lots of it as well. So thank you very much.
Andy, thank you very much for sharing your story with us. And well done for condensing down to, I've worked out, 0.4% of what you normally take to deliver that. No, thank you very much, Andy. I'm sure that's been incredibly valuable for everybody there watching. Andy, I know you need to go back and join the judges. You've got more work to do elsewhere in our ceremony, so I'll let you do that. But I will head back to the judges who are still in there with their judges' hats on. So the time has come for the judges' prizes. Now, remember, there are two categories this year: big ideas and startup. with the judges awarding a runners-up and a winner's prize for each. And we also have, don't forget, the additional Enterprise Award of £5,000, which will be given to the team judged to have the most commercial potential. Judges, welcome back. Let's get straight to it, shall we? Our teams have been on tenterhooks for long enough, I think. Judge Jerome Bergman, it falls to you to announce the runner-up in the Big Ideas category. Who will be the recipient of the £1,500 in prize money, Jerome?
Yeah, it's a pleasure to announce that the runner-up is a company that has a great vision for the future, and I do hope, and we as the judges hope, that they are able to maintain that vision. It's GOAB BioEngineers.
GOAB Engineers, GOAB BioEngineers. Congratulations. There you are, chaps. Fantastic. Hello, guys. Welcome back. How does that feel? How does that feel? Runners-up for the Big Ideas prize.
Great. Whoops.
Yeah, that's what we want to see, chaps.
But yeah.
That's what we want to see.
That's a really fantastic feeling.
How hard was that to deliver your pitch in just 3 minutes? Did you feel the pressure?
We did. In fact, we're just trying to make sure that we don't overcrowd the presentation and also not speak too fast in order not to lose the conversation. So yeah, the 3 minutes was really a tough one, but we really thank our mentor, Helen. He was really great. He actually took us through the presentation over and over again. So yeah, very, very useful exercise.
Fantastic stuff. Listen, guys, I'm very, very happy for you. Well done. You obviously impressed the judges with your pitch. And we have a trophy that will be heading its way to you. There it is, look, as the runners-up in this, in the Big Ideas category. Oh, you like the trophy? That's fair. Yeah, great. Listen, guys, congratulations. Very, very well done to you both. OK, we now move on to the runner-up of the startup category, who will also win £1,500. And Judge Anna Avaliani, we're going to come to you, if we may, please, to announce the runner-up in the startup category.
Yes, well, thank you very much. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant pitches. We have indeed had quite a difficult task finding the overall winner and deciding on the runners up as well. And I am in a second going to be announcing the runner up. But just to say very quickly, we were quite impressed with this particular innovation because it addresses so many current challenges, and we absolutely wish the individuals involved in the project all the best of luck. And of course, if there is anything we can do to help and support the team to bring the innovation to market, of course, we'd be absolutely delighted to do so. So the runner-up in their startup category is Zama Digital. So congratulations.
James, welcome back. James from Zama Digital. Hey, fantastic, James. Hey, listen, a great pitch. And again, obviously, you've impressed the judges, and thank you, Anna, for talking us through the decisions there. James, how does that feel?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, quite surprised. So yeah, no, thank you very much. Really appreciate that.
Any ideas what you'll be doing with that prize money?
Yeah, as I said in my presentation, we've got a few exciting plans for further development of our platform and software. So yeah, it'll be invested straight into that. So yeah, no, really exciting to have the funds to be able to move forward with that.
And when does work start with that? Is that kind of straight away tomorrow? We're back in. Well, it's Saturday, I mean. Give yourself a break.
I might have the weekend off, but on Monday, we'll be looking how to best use that.
Good man. Well, listen, James and all the team at Zama Digital, you are the runners-up in the startup category. Your trophy will be making its way over to you. There it is, look. Fantastic stuff. I'm sure that will go pride of place somewhere for you, James.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Listen, well done. Enjoy your weekend, and I'm sure you go and celebrate. Well done. OK, It's now time to announce the winners of the 2021 Champion of Champions final in both the Big Ideas and Startup categories. And remember, each team in these each category will receive a £3,000 prize, and a Sainsbury Management Fellow Mentor. Andy, he's back, lovely. Judge Andy Phillipps, we're going to come to you, please, to announce the 2021 Champion of Champions Big Ideas winner.
Firstly, as with all the categories, it was incredibly competitive. But we particularly liked for this idea the social impact we thought it could have. We thought the analysis behind it was excellent. It was well presented, and it also had a slightly surprisingly scary video. And the winner was, as you may have guessed, C2V.
Fantastic! Congratulations, C2V. There they are. Look. Hang on, we're missing somebody. There were 5 of you earlier. What's happened?
Oh gosh, guys, I don't know how to use this laptop. Joel's had to go. He's got a train to catch, but the 4 of us are here, and we're so happy. We are so happy.
I think we can see that, guys. I think we can see that. Very well done. How did you think your presentation went?
Honestly, where do we even start?
We had practices so many times, like running around the tables, trying to get the transitions right.
Getting the choreo correct. Yeah, yeah.
Do you know?
I'm just so happy.
Just making sure the enthusiasm came across well.
Well, do you know what? I can, and I know the judges will have seen that, and I certainly saw that as well. The enthusiasm was definitely there, even though we couldn't see your faces through the presentation. You could definitely tell that the passion for your idea was definitely there. Are you all cyclists?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Joel was definitely an avid cyclist. Yeah. But yeah, we tend to go to the peaks every now and again because it's right next door to our university.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, fantastic, guys. And listen, you've got your trophy on its way over to you. But there's also the £3,000 prize as well. Is that going to be useful for you is that going to be useful for you in progressing your project and business idea?
Yeah, absolutely. So our next steps definitely included trying to sort out a prototype and the testing phase, which is the most important part. So yeah, that's where the money will be dedicated to, trying to sort that out and basically launch us onto possibly the business aspect of it. Yeah.
Excellent stuff, guys. Look, I'm very, very pleased for you. I hope those smiles last all weekend long. Congratulations to Team C2V. Yes. Oh, bravo. OK. And now on to the winner of the startup category. And this honour falls to our head judge, Serge Taborin. Serge, it's over to you, please, to announce the 2021 Champion of Champions startup winner.
Thank you, Rob. And just firstly, to echo the thoughts of my fellow judges, I think the standard tonight has been really exceptional. As a former startup founder, I know how nerve-wracking these can be. But we had to choose one winner, and the winner comes from the market segment that I think shamefully has been underserved for so long. So the startup category winner is ChangeXtra.
Hey. ChangeXtra, and of course, over to Claire Mann. Yeah. Hello, Claire. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. It's so exciting. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, listen, congratulations. An extremely impressive presentation that you put together. Very, very clearly delivered, setting up the problem and your solution towards it. I mean, how does that feel, sat there now, knowing that you've got £3,000 to help develop that and progress that even further?
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. It's such an honour just to even have the idea validated by so many people, to recognise that this is a problem and that we really need to tackle it. The money's going to come in so handy. We've literally just built the prototype of the app. We've designed that with the users. I'm so keen to build the full thing, so every penny is going to count in the business. And it's just an honour, and I'm absolutely thrilled. Thank you.
Oh, Claire, listen, I'm delighted for you as well, as are the judges. I mean, how was the presentation from your perspective?
I don't think my heart's ever beat so fast in my life. As the other guy said, you rehearse and you rehearse and you practice everything. But when that clock is in the corner, the other corner, it is so scary. It puts so much pressure on. And so the first half, I thought I was quite calm. And then the pressure was on as soon as I noticed the time was ticking down. And I think I probably rattled through the second half of it. But I'm just so passionate about this business and what I do. And hopefully that kind of came across. And yeah.
Oh, well, listen, Claire, I mean, you obviously dealt with that pressure incredibly well. I mean, that is the kind of pressure that you're going to face in the boardrooms that you may be in the future. And, you know, that's the kind of pressure that engineers are going to, you know, have to deal with if they want to take their ideas forward. But listen, fantastic. Congratulations to you. Your trophy will, of course, be making its way to you as well. There it is, along with that £3,000 prize. Claire, congratulations. And now, last but certainly not least, to the winners of the Enterprise Award. And that's £5,000, sponsored by Dame Anne and Matthew Richards. Now, this prize will go to the team which has the best commercial potential. And the award itself is to help encourage the winning team to proceed with the commercialisation of their product or service. And I have the honour of having our president, David Falzani MBE, back to announce the winner. David, over to you, the 2021 Enterprise Award winner.
Thank you again, Rob. So it's my pleasure to announce that the winner, and I'm just waiting for the graphics to come up. So the winner of the Enterprise Awards is Paige. So very, very many congratulations.
There they are, Team Paige.
Thank you.
Off you come. Guys, congratulations.
So exciting.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big smiles on the screens there.
Thank you.
Superb, superb. Well, guys, I mean, how about that? That's £5,000 coming to you to help progress your idea. How does that feel to be the recipients of that and to be winners?
I mean, I think it's amazing. It was a stressing night, as the other team said. Seeing the clock like ticking down, it was very stressful, but it was amazing. We enjoyed the coaching a lot as well. We learned so much from it. So now we're just so excited to use this money and keep on in our design and prototype, and hopefully get to the dream of finalizing Paige and putting it out there in the market.
Does this prize money help accelerate your progress and development of the project?
I mean, surely, yes. I mean, I don't know if you guys want to add something to what I'm saying, but we've been working on the prototype only with grant funding. So it's amazing to have some more money, and hopefully it will also help in going to schools and improve our user testing.
Guys, we've seen the smiles earlier. And anything that any of you others would like to add and kind of express your joy out to the community here?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. I just want to say, well, firstly, thank you very much. Well done to everyone tonight. I think we've seen some really good presentations, and yeah, very appreciative of the prize. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. It will definitely go to good use. So very happy about that. Thanks.
Oh, listen, it was interesting to hear you talk earlier about the role that the mentors and the mentoring that you received had on your presentation, and I'm sure that's felt right across the teams tonight. But specifically, did you make changes to your presentation based on that support that you received?
Definitely. I think we always struggle to articulate like the problem, because it's so complex and it's so difficult to actually illustrate like what Braille is and what a single line display is. So we had to work a lot on that side of things, and also trying to make people aware of how big of a problem this is. And I think with coaching, we got to like improve our slides a lot, and I think the message got across way better than it was before.
Well, listen, guys.
Yeah, and also just to add on that, sorry, can I?
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Usually we go into way too many details, especially technology related. So the coaching helps us kind of dull that down a little and go into more the business side of things, and hopefully make the whole thing a bit clearer. Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. And I'm sure that that advice that, that you received didn't only help this pitch, but hopefully future pitches for you as well. Listen, guys, I'm delighted for you. Team Paige, you are the 2021 Champion of Champions, Enterprise Award winner, £5,000. And of course, your trophy will be coming your way as well. There it is. Congratulations, guys. Fantastic stuff. Now, listen, let's come back to our judges. Well, I mean, you guys look both exhausted and exhilarated. Head judge, Serge, what a big role you've had. Let me come and just round off things with you. I mean, now that it's all done, how did you find this, this judging process this year and the overall quality of the ideas that were being presented?
Yeah, look, as I said, I used to do these things as an entrepreneur, and I can tell you it's a lot easier on this side of the table than it was pitching. But I'd also like to thank my fellow judges. I think they've done a fantastic job. And what I would say is, look, everyone tonight has done such a superb job. You've prepared well, you've presented well, your ideas came across really clearly. You know, we're not like Dragon's Den when we say we're out. We are very much in. So if there's anything we can do to help you and support you in your journey, please let us know. But thank you so much for your time. You know, we've all enjoyed it, and it's been a pleasure and genuinely an honour to be a part of this process.
Well, Serge, thank you very much. And thank you to all of our judges there, Anna, Andy and Jerome as well. Thank you so much for your time and effort that you've put in tonight. It is hugely, hugely appreciated. Thank you all very much. And David, also thank you for your time and for your support of this competition generally, really.
It's been a real pleasure, Rob, and let me please add my own thanks to everyone involved. It's been a fantastic evening.
Wonderful stuff, wonderful stuff. It has been a fantastic show, as David said, full of exciting talent and ideas to tackle the everyday and worldwide challenges that face society. Now, for more details on how to participate in the Engineers in Business competitions, visit the Apply page of the website and see our EIBC 2021 Champion of Champions winners videos at eibc.org.uk/winners. And also a very big thank you to our sponsors this evening, Purple CV and Cambridge University Press, for what has been a hugely inspiring evening. I go away full of joy and having learnt an awful lot as well. Thank you to all the teams that pitched. You are all brilliant, and I'm sure that this will have been a very positive and helpful process for wherever and however you take your ideas forward, your fantastic ideas forward, all of them. Thank you one last time to our wonderful panel of judges, Anna Avaliani, Jerome Bergman, Andy Phillipps, and Serge Taborin. It's been an amazing evening of brilliant ideas that will help us tackle the challenges of the future. I'm Rob Bell. Thank you all very much for joining us, and we look forward to more amazing engineering ideas in 2022. Go well and good night.